Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Results Roundtable podcast. I'm joined today with Sean Doyle. Sean is an online fitness influencer. I would say you're a mindset advocate. You're a fitness coach. You became famous off your viral content for macro-friendly meals, and I would say your can-do, just get shit done attitude, go and do it. In today's episode, we're going to talk about what Sean doesn't know yet is a bit of his background, adversity and homelessness, masculinity, identity and limiting beliefs, money and business, fitness and nutrition, discipline and performance, wins and losses, and much more if we get to it. But Sean, how the hell are you?
I'm all good, man. Thanks very much for having me.
No problem.
I'm looking forward to this now.
Yeah. Let's get stuck into a bit of your background. So, what got you started in fitness? Did you always enjoy it?
I was always somewhat in sports growing up, but I didn't really have any luck with it because what happened was I kept getting injured, and then from that I just kept getting fatter. But then when I was in sixth class, I was still like playing that, and then with that I fell, and I don't know, in 2008 there was a big snowstorm, and with that then I thought it was a great idea to cycle over ice. With that, fractured my knee, and then balls in my hips, ended up falling out of place. So I was in a wheelchair for months, was on crutches on and off for like nearly 2 years, and then with that I became obviously very lazy, and then eating the food, weight gone up, back in playing sports, and I was very much on and off. And then I ended up finding the gym, and it was the one place that I couldn't get injured. Well, I didn't injure myself, thankfully, as of yet. Then I just stayed consistent with it. And then my mum was actually the one who said, you're starting a PT course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was true. Well, I was sitting around, I wasn't doing anything. I was working in the pub. I left the pub because it was after hours, and sitting back, we were doing like the lock-ins. We were doing that fairly consistently. And it got to a point during the night, and they were all talking about like betting. Nothing obviously wrong with each their own, but they were just talking around like betting. And then I was looking at the age as to where they were. I was only like 19 or something at this point, 19, 20. And then I started seeing this very much like, let's say, similarities within them. And I didn't go back the next day.
You didn't go back the next day?
No, I just packed it in.
One of my next questions was, what would you have been doing if it wasn't for fitness? So it wasn't that you were always interested in it or always thought of it as a career path. Your mum was just like, you're doing that. You enjoy that. You're good at it. You're doing it.
Yeah. So I don't know what I would be doing, but I definitely wouldn't be working for somebody. No, I've never really been able to work for somebody. I've always had issues in every single job that I was in. Same with school. I didn't really like people feeling that just because they have a label slapped on them that they have this power over you. So
I like manager or supervisor. It's like, mate, you're on £2 more an hour than me. Like, pack it in.
Yeah, exactly. And they think that they can talk down to you and treat you a certain way. I'm very much straightforward, and I'll just say exactly as to how it is. Yeah. And I didn't really care. Because at the same time, like, what did I have to lose? I was able to go back home and then just start again. I was still only young. So even though it was probably, like, let's say you could say stupid, I know it annoyed my mum and my dad, but for me, it wasn't right. So I definitely would have been always worked for myself somehow. Like, I had a pancake business before over lockdown. That was good, selling high protein pancakes, slinging them. And then I was somewhat trying to do the fitness at that point and everything as well. So it was always working for myself, like even doing deliveries. That was still like my own hours. I was able to pick the days and everything when I was going. Like, even though I was technically working for somebody, I also wasn't. I definitely would be doing something that wouldn't require working for somebody, but what that would be if I didn't start off in fitness, I'm actually not too sure.
Oh. It's also not a bad problem to have, is not have a second option, because sometimes if you have a backup plan, you don't go all in on the plan A. Like, if you have a way out, there's no like burn the boats.
No, that's anytime there's a goal, I like phrasing it as in, like, it's good having a goal and then you reverse engineer it back. Because when it comes to obviously having something that you want to work towards, understanding the destination, but getting obviously the realization as the first step as to how small that is. I think a lot of people, like, let's say, cause that to be very like overwhelming. And if you have a goal, sometimes the first thing could just be to fucking pick up a pen. But with that and having the goal, having, like, let's say, a cost of entry into actually saying you're going to do the thing. So I like throwing it up on social media, or I have a goal now I'll say it. I want to get 500,000 followers in 6 months. If I don't, the beard is gone.
The beard's gone?
Yeah, but that's what it creates, that pressure. I don't want to shave the beard.
But when was the last time you didn't have a beard?
4 years ago. 4 years ago? Yeah, I'm too afraid of shaving because it doesn't grow back.
Have you said you're losing the beard out loud yet?
No, first time.
There we go.
Yeah.
We got an exclusive. The beard is gone, so get following that, man. Yeah. Because I have sometimes when I'm like trimming, the like head goes or falls off, and then you head cut right down to the bone, and you're like, fuck, I have to shave it all now to that length.
I haven't experienced that. I get my barber every week. He just does a touch up.
I have twice where I fucked up, and I put it to like the plain razor. I'm like, fuck, a big chunk out, and see for like a week after, I'm looking at myself going, you weren't a lugger to start with, but you're fucking brutal now. Get that beard back.
Now, to be fair, when I was living in when I done that pancake business, was the whole goal was me and my ex at the time, and we wanted to fucking get away for a while. Like, so we went over to Tenerife for a good bit, and I got the beard. Oh no, this was after I went to Tenerife then the following year with a friend. God, they basically gave me like a chin strap.
Chin strap?
Yeah, of the beard. But that was like the style over there.
Yeah.
And that was the worst I think I've ever had.
The worst you've ever had?
Yeah.
When you're talking about in jobs and stuff, like not really listening to people, I find that's a common trait in entrepreneurship. Because I find whenever I used to work in factories and stuff, even if I would have had a job to do, like, you know, do this, do that, I would have always made my own process. I would have got it done, but I would have got it done my way, and I would have said, like, this is more efficient, or this is easier, or I can do this better, keep track of this. And then some manager would have come down and goes, that's not the way we do it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, but I've never made a mistake. You know, I've never made a mistake. I'm always, my pack rate or my production is always what it's meant to be. Can I just do it my way because I find this way good? It's like, nah, company policy, other way.
Yeah, that's everyone has their own different operating system when it comes to learning and actually going about doing. And then, as you said, you obviously can learn faster doing it a different way. They're going to obviously have their understanding as to what obviously makes things easier. And I do find, like, even like, I know for me, let's say last year with the staff and everything that I had working for me, I didn't like trying to tell them what to do, because that made them more reliable on me to make the decisions. Because then that reinforced, you need me all the time. Like, let's say that with the job, that's what you're in. That's what that would be my thought on it. So I know obviously a lot of people do obviously act in that way, but I don't necessarily think it's the right thing to do, because it creates a lot more creativity, and your way could have been better than that way. You know what I mean? So I feel sometimes even with that, for let's say people in charge, that can come more so down to, like, let's say ego. Because if the job's done right, what's the issue?
Exactly, yeah. It's an ego thing, or it's just like an authority thing. Or like some people get that little bit of power and it goes to their head, and then, I hate to say it, but sometimes it's all they have. You know, they go home, they've got a fucking shit relationship, or they've nobody at home, or they've no fucking friends, and all they have is that little bit of power and authority they have in work. And then it's that old saying, like, shit trickles down. So if you're not really overly happy, you're going to push that down onto your employees below you, or staff below you.
Exactly, yeah.
I have an employee with Branded, and he's actually a mate of mine. But one thing I've really struggled with is telling him what to do. Because number one, he's my mate, so I don't want to ever break that friend barrier. And number two, it's like, if he does it right, I don't care. You know, so like I'll say at the start of the day, this job, he's done, and as long as they're done, I don't give a fuck. Yeah,
absolutely.
Even like coming in, like say we're meant to start at 9 o'clock. If he comes to the door 9:15, I don't give a fuck. You know, is the work done? If I need you to stay on a half an hour someday to help finish the job, do you do it? Yes, fine, I don't care. But I think it goes back to me in jobs where it's like, if you're not valued or you're not appreciated, you're not going to put in the effort.
Exactly.
So I always kind of wanted to be the boss that I never had. Yeah.
So, but it's obviously, from what you were saying, it strikes me more or less along the same lines as the way I'd be thinking along the same with that. Because as to what I was saying last year, and I know I still have a lot to learn as to how I did go last year, but it gives them an opportunity to learn. You know what I mean? Because if they even fuck up, at least they learned, and then they know, right, okay, I'm not going to do that again, but they done it. You know what I mean? But if you're the one saying it, like even the way I do it with clients, so the way I like to operate with clients, and I've always said it when people are coming on board, it was see this as a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a companionship. I don't know why the word's gone out of my head. As in, like, there's the two of us come together. It's not a dictatorship. It's not what I say goes. It's the two of us come together. Collaboration. Yes. This is what this has to be. So even if they say to me, well, okay, Sean, look, I want to do X, but it necessarily doesn't suit, let's say, their recovery, their sleep, where they are currently at, let's say, in life with the job, the tasks and everything which they have to do, the family life, but they want to go push for X, Y, and Z. It might not line up. You know what I mean? But me just telling them, no, that's going to make them, he could pull it back to being a kid. You know what I mean? Oh, you can't do that. You're going to want to do it more. So then from actually saying, right, okay, this is something that we could do if you obviously fall in line, not fall in line, but if you understand X, Y, and Z. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it gives them the choice it gives them the power of choice, which I think a lot of people want, and that gives them back some of the power.
Yeah, it's like, don't press the red button.
Yeah.
Well, I want to press the red button because I think something's bad or something.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong. So it's like, if you're saying if you tell clients you can't do this, then it all of a sudden becomes like
it can turn into resentment.
Yeah,
it can turn into resentment, but then as well, it gives them more of an opportunity to learn. I'm very big into practical application, like learning and doing at the same time. And that's always been a thing for helping me speed up my rate of knowledge. Everything that I'm doing, like let's say even with the psychology, doing it with, let's say the physiology side of things, it was always the videos and everything online. Like if you go back and look at my old videos, I'm sitting down at a wall pretending like I'm James Smith, in the sense that was a way of me being able to increase my rate of learning at a fast pace, because I was able to deliver value, knowing I was able to create impact, learning as to what it is that I'm doing at the same time, and I was able to go into my head to process it more efficiently, because I felt like I was doing it in real time, which I technically was, but it was with a purpose. So if they have the purpose to go and do it, okay, let's try to steer them in the right direction. Obviously, make sure they're going to be the best position, even if it is the wrong thing to do, but at least they were educated prior, and then they made the choice, they went to do it and was like, right, okay, now I see. And then...
Do you find that works better for clients lying? So like if you were to tell clients, this is what you have to stick to 100%, don't do all this here stuff, then all of a sudden the don'ts, the lie about it, where if you educate them, they're more willing to be open and honest, going like, I fucked up at the weekend, or I had a cheat meal, or I didn't get to the gym.
Yeah, I don't know, like everything that I'm doing now, it's around, let's say, pattern recognition and behaviour change. That's what I'm very much heavily leaning into. But I've also been somewhat doing it unconsciously over the past number of years with my clients. So I don't know if it's part of the reason as to why, and like with people coming on board and they were working with me, and I was able to form very good connections and everything with them. And that couldn't actually happen just from talking to so many people. But trying to understand as to where they're actually at in life and the tone of voice as to what to actually use, as to where to meet them, as to how, even in, let's say, their inhales, their exhales, in sounding nervous, where their eye movement's actually going when you're, let's say, if you're on a phone call and you're saying something in a certain way. And from that, you can get a better understanding as to how to go about steering a conversation to be able to, for them to actually open up, even though they might be a little bit hesitant. And it's just asking the right questions and being a bit more open-ended with it.
Where did you learn them skills?
If I'm being honest, this wasn't like learned from a textbook. It was more so experience over the years, and then from obviously then noticing the patterns, looking back then over my life, particularly last year, and the year beforehand, which stemmed from the relationship that I was in. I started to notice all these other different patterns and everything that were lining up and stuff that I needed to change. And from that, and from really noticing it, I started just bringing that into, like, let's say, sales calls. I started bringing it in with my clients, and I started like using because I had a very small bunch of clients myself over the past last year. Year beforehand, not so much, a lot more, because I was obviously by myself. But with those clients that I had, we were like friends. You know what I mean? So I was able to talk to them the way obviously I was able to talk to them. They got me, but I was able to trial out different stuff and say, well, let's look at it stuff in this way. Like, I'm very big on, like, let's say, dating non-negotiables. I always very much leaned into the reason why. Then I always try frame it for them to give whatever it was, I say, they were upset about or something was going on, give it a different meaning. You know what I mean? Because when you give something a different meaning, it can obviously it can turn it into like a double-sided coin.
Have you said dating non-negotiables, right? Does your current partner called Lindsay, yeah?
Current partner, I don't have one.
You don't have one?
No, I did have. She was named Caitlin.
Caitlin? I thought I heard you say they were Lindsay in one of your photos, or one of your videos, sorry. Well, say your last partner, for example, or any partner, have you found, like, because you're big into your mindset and everything that comes around that whole, like, genre, and you said about dating non-negotiables?
Yeah.
Are you hard to date?
Yeah. I've came to, so I understand myself. There's always room to learn, because you're always going to grow, so you're always going to get different. So, but from where I'm at now, I understand in the sense, like, let's say, arguments, right? So I actually will say, not a lot of people would express it this way. So for me, growing up, I very much always felt less than. I always felt very small. I always felt that I wasn't going to be worthy of anything. Now, that was obviously my perception of it from growing up. It's not like a poor me sort of things, but from looking back now, I can see as to how everything stemmed, but it was from a pattern that reinforced, let's say, an emotion. And that emotion was the belief that if I don't fix as to what is going on, as to how people see me, I'm going to be perceived differently. So, let's say in a relationship, if I had a fight with somebody and we were having a disagreement, For somebody else, they might want, like, let's say, peace and quiet to be able to, let's say, regulate, get themselves in a good position. I'm like, I need to fucking fix this now. You know what I mean? I don't want. So I very much, for me to, let's say, be calm, I need frameworks and I need logic. And when I understand it, then that helps me relax.
See,
not even approach that way.
See, the reason I asked that question was I would say I'm probably hard to date for someone who's very emotional.
Yeah.
Which my partner is. So it's not. She's very emotional. Like she doesn't like me putting full stops at the end of messages because she says it's very like harsh and like, like no, it's grammar. It's like But you think she thinks I'm like harsh stopping the sentence and it's rude. And like no, it's grammar. Like you may think I'm like understand I'm not being rude. And in my head I'm like that's the end of it. I'm telling you I'm not being rude. So whenever you talk about it again,
send voice notes.
Send voice notes.
Yeah, so there's no like. If I send the message, I'll send the voice note back after just to like show the tone that everything's grand. Because same thing.
And even like arguments and stuff like him same as you, I'm like I don't want send treatment. I don't want us to go mess about for a week here not talking to each other. Like what's wrong? Let's fix it. And she's like, no, I'm mad at you. I don't want to talk. It was
I can't do that.
No, I hate that unknown.
That's because we're different. Like this is something that I like. It took me a while now to realise it, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? Girls, women, they're going to operate from a place of feelings. We're going to operate from a place of logic. So they're two completely different things. You know what I mean? We want to understand and we want to naturally, let's say, fix. They want to feel safe, and then from us pressing, they aren't feeling safe. We think we're making things right, but we're actually probably making things worse.
Yeah, I think it's that old double-sided coin though. It's like, I need you to understand me, and I need me to understand you.
It does come down to that, though. You just have to meet in the middle. Otherwise, I think that's what fucked me up.
Yeah.
It causes that divide, and it causes that resentment because you have one person trying to prove more than the other, and it feels like the other person's not doing as much. So then that flips it in the sense that there's a power dynamic. You know what I mean? You might feel that she's not giving as much, then she's feeling that you're maybe giving too much, or whatever it may be as to how the two. It's the exact same story. Two different truths to it. You know what I mean? And then from that, it can cause resentment. It can cause that power sort of things to come in when it shouldn't be that. It should be just two people meeting in the middle.
I would say this is probably the first relationship where because I was single for a long time before it, and I took a lot of time to myself, which I probably needed. And I'd say this is the first relationship where I'm trying to be great. I'm trying to be good. So I'm trying to understand her. I know my love language is given. So like I would rather see her with something and see her happy. That brings me more joy than me getting something. You know, stuff like stupid stuff like that there, and I'm trying to understand myself more. So I hope. Well, she may disagree, but I hope I'm doing this one right. This one right. But I think it's come like you talked about, to understand yourself, and then obviously the other side they have to understand as well. I've tried to communicate that with my partner, and I think it's going okay. I think she's starting to understand me.
The urgency of which you had to fix that obviously came back from something years ago.
Oh, I've had terrible relationships. Getting cheated on, terrible. But most of them getting cheated on. I'll just go out there and say.
But even see that.
Yeah,
it goes back even further because that all stems from, and even like attracting those type of girls in, it always comes from this particular wound as to what you have. Like for me, it's the exact rejection. Urgency, try fix because you said cheating. Like that was something that I went through as well. But that also, I'll say it, my mum, as in it was the mother wound, in the sense like I always felt that I needed to prove myself to my mum. So from her, being like she didn't do anything wrong, she was operating from as to how she grew up, you know what I mean, her beliefs, all this kind of stuff, which was grand. But I always felt that I needed to prove, I always felt less. So then in relationships, they were the type of girls that I'd nearly attract. You know what I mean? So it's the ones that they have it together, but there's still a slight bit of an edge and it needs me to chase. You know what I mean? But that all stems from that. So like for me, and it probably would be the exact same for you, I'm more conscious now in the sense that if we're having an issue, everything inside me is telling me like I need to fucking fix this. Trying to sit back and not text and like fucking text me back. Call you. Trying to actually pull back and not do that. That's very hard. Very hard.
It's hard to go against your natural instinct.
But that's the good part because that's where you start to grow.
And
also maybe makes the relationship better because then that encourages them to start to come back in. Because let's say they want validation. And they're used to that. There's somewhere, so like let's say something to do with the dad or whatever it may be from growing up. They seek that. You know what I mean? But if you then start just holding your own, that then I'm saying this and I've had to ruin my last relationship. That didn't ruin my last relationship. Obviously I understand a lot better now, but that should obviously bring you a lot more closer together.
I will say one thing. You mentioned your mum there. my two biggest relationships that failed like horribly. Both of them, my mom hated the girl.
Yeah.
She knew. Like
my mom says it as well.
Yeah.
She's like, Sean, it's not for you.
yeah, like
you need fun in your life.
yeah, and then you sort of almost like push back, but like, I'll show you how to make this work.
Yeah, it can't, and that's the same thing. So it's the power, it's the power dynamic. You know what I mean? Because unconsciously, without even knowing it, it comes back to the three things, is what I said. It's going to be turned into the resentment that could fall into your mom, the power dynamic, mom over, let's say, over you naturally, and then the other one, which it's gone off the top of my finger. There is three. I can't forget the other one, but it is that. You know what I mean? So it comes from that need to prove.
It's I think a whole dating relationship and even like human connection area is wild because everyone is so different, and you can talk about like different pillars and different ways people operate, or even like putting male and female in different boxes, and then you meet a girl and she's completely the same as me. And you're going, you're not the typical, you're not emotional, you're logical. And you're going, what the fuck?
That's happened to me.
Yeah.
It messed me up. So last year, me and my ex, we were on and off throughout the whole course of the year. We had a very rough period, to say the very least. But I met somebody and we were getting on great. Everything was going well. Like there was no issues, like none. So I was very used to highs, lows, chaos, then calm, and that pattern as to what was obviously happening. But I said to her, no, I was honest, I couldn't stop thinking about the ex. And I sat her down, I said that.
I
was expecting like a dig.
Fuck, man.
She was like, oh, it's okay, let's talk about it. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, what's going on here? That felt so uneasy for me.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, because you can nearly get addicted to that feeling because it increases your dopamine. So that addiction is very much like fucking playing a slot machine or scrolling on your phone.
It's the make-up sex thing. You know, there's people who thrive off just having arguments and then they'll so shit, so good, and then the good feels fucking great because it was so shit.
Yeah.
And it's that like it's the peaks and troughs thing where like if life's just it doesn't matter where you are in life, but if it's stagnant, it gets boring.
That's the thing, but people think the boring is wrong.
Yeah.
And the more now I'm learning about all this kind of stuff, the boring isn't necessarily wrong. If it's obviously aren't doing fucking anything, it's absolutely shit, like fair enough. But boring, and it's more so, could be framed as, give something a different meaning, could be seen as peace, could be seen as like calm, you know what I mean? Because a lot of everyone now is very much consistently in survival mode, I feel, from, let's say, operating from a place of comparison. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of it stems from, especially, I will say, a lot of the girls now growing up with everything now online, with social media, feel they get like 10 lads, no problem. You know what I mean? Just go outside and you just have that ease. And same with lads.
Yeah.
As in, they just go out and get somebody, as opposed to actually appreciating who's there and who wants to actually be with them, to sit with them through the shit as to what's going on. But like, even like, say, the whole calm side of things and being able to sit and not fight and be able to just communicate efficiently, that connection as to what people do feel with the highs and the lows, and then you have the deep conversation then afterwards. I say, after the makeup, sex and all this kind of stuff, everything feels fucking brand new, sunshine and rainbows, and then something else happens. And then it's like, I know we're going to fix it. And it's that connection loop. But it's not the connection, you can have a connection with fucking anybody. You know what I mean? Sitting up till like 3 o'clock in the morning chatting about what you feel doesn't necessarily mean that you're meant to be together.
No.
You know what I mean? But you think in that way that you are. But it comes down to, in my opinion, being able to sit with each other in the shit and talk about the uncomfortable stuff that you don't actually want to talk about, and then knowing that other person is going to be there for you regardless as to what it is that you say.
100%. If you have full confidence that whoever you're with is going to be with you no matter how shit things get, like it's some support mechanism. It's even some feeling to get through things, you know. Especially as a man, like we'll talk about it more later on, but especially as a man, it's almost like if you tip the whole like feminist and masculine side, and you know what's toxic and what's not, like as a man, no matter what anybody says, I don't care what your beliefs are, but it's true. We are built to provide.
Yeah.
And it's not about having to. It's about like our natural instincts is I want to provide, I want to look after, I want to protect. You know, and if you aren't in a place that you feel you can do that, it's quite scary for a man. So whether that's financial, you know, whether that's even, do you feel weak? Is there a bigger man in her life when you feel emasculated compared to him? You know, probably most of the time I would say now in life it's probably financial, because life's just got so fucking expensive now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if you're struggling to pay the fucking mortgage, struggling to put food on the table, you're not going to feel like a man.
Yeah. That's the reason why I do feel like a lot of people now are I will say, I'll use my brother as a reference. Very much isolated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that can happen from the social media as to what is obviously perceived now as normal. You know what I mean? And that causes people to retreat in as opposed to try to get themselves out there because they fear being judged or whatever it may be. The shame, rejection.
Oh, it's the highlight reel. You go on people's social medias and they've got 3-4 holidays a year and they've got the nice car, they've got the nice watch and the nice handbags. And you don't know they're in fucking debt to the neck. The watch is fake, the bag's fake, the car's going to get picked up next week. You know, but the social media won't show you that. And then you compare yourself to that and you're doing fine. You've got your car, it's paid off, there's no debt on it. You're paying your bills, you have a few grand savings, you're comfortable. But you think you're fucking doing shit because you've seen someone else's like highlight reel, as it's called, what they want to show you. And I think I heard this term before called it said comparison is the thief of joy. I think actually it was James Smith.
Yeah.
And it's so right. Like people need to get out of their, like say social media, I hate it for that one reason.
Yeah.
I think everybody's just showing a life that they don't actually have.
That's all stemmed from a place of ego. Like there's a metaphor that I like using is you have a boat in a harbour, right, and it has an engine and it has a sail. And if you want to get that boat out of the harbour, how are you going to start it? What are you turning on? What are you going to go with the engine or are you going to go with the sail?
Engine.
Engine.
Yeah.
So what does an engine require? Fuel, yeah. So you can get out of the harbour quite fast and you can go quite fast, let's say, towards that destination. But eventually it's going to run out. Yeah, so then the only thing you have then is the sail.
Yeah.
Right, but if you rely on the engine to get you to your destination and that's fucking far away, at a certain point it's going to run out and you're going to resort back or you're going to be stuck, and that's when you become very stagnant. But if you're operating, let's say, with the sail from a place of purpose and that falls in line with as to who you are and as to, that will take away the comparison because you know as to what you're doing is fulfilling you. You know what I mean? So that takes away that I need to do X, I need to fucking get this car, I need to get this watch, whatever it may be. But when you're able to flip it and give it, as I said, different meaning, and you understand as to what's actually right for you when you operate from a place of purpose over ego, I think it creates a better overall headspace. Now, I do say this in the sense that I obviously didn't always do that like last year. First time, obviously, let's say the homeless period, everything's starting to go well. I never had any of this, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was operating very much from a place of scarcity. And I was just go. I got fucking 4 cars last year. I got a BMW 7 Series, I missed that. But I done all this stuff, you know what I mean? So so it's well and good me saying this now, and this is also like what other people are hearing. Like, it's like, and that's why I like trying to say it in a different way. Like the stuff that I try to talk about, I've done the stupid stuff, and it's not that I'm saying don't do it, but it's just more so like bring it back to the client thing. Yeah, I can tell you not to do it, but it's up to you if you want to go and learn it the way I did. Because people do throw up the highlight reels, but they never see the negative part that could be a counterpart to actually as to what it is that you are doing. So when you go and obviously do the shit, you can get more of a realization as to who you actually are and what success actually is to you. So for me now, I know it's just security, safety, and connection. You know what I mean? And being able to create, like, let's say, financial peace, clarity, and freedom of choice. That's it. And whatever way that comes, fair enough.
I think you need all three. I think a lot of people, especially business owners and entrepreneurs and people strive for stuff, they miss the connection part. Yeah. You strive so hard for, you strive so hard for the money, for the fame, and then you have no connection and you're lost and like lonely. And I think that's one thing social media actually fucking takes, even though it's meant to be social media, I think it does take connection from us. You mentioned there about being homeless, so that's my next section I want to jump into. That was 2004?
2023.
2023. I was going to say, because whenever I was talking to you, my Instagram showed I've been following 2004.
I only put it up.
Oh, you put it up?
Yeah, I didn't talk about it.
And then I didn't see it. Yeah. What were you doing at that time, or what led to that happening?
I won't hide it. I understand my emotions now. Yeah. I didn't before. Yeah. So, do you remember what I was saying in relation to the need to fix? Yeah. If I felt that I was also being, let's say, rejected, and I felt that I was being, as in, like, if I wanted to get something done and I needed to get something done, let's say a video, yeah. And I was like, my whole day was nearly relying on it, because I didn't really have anything, but I knew I was consistent. I always have been consistent, no matter what has been going on in my life. I'd stay with it. But if I was in a position where I was like, I couldn't do what I obviously needed to do, that would affect me. So over the years since I was a kid, I always very much suffer with like anger issues. And then from that, I'd get very annoyed very easily. And then I didn't help myself well when I was in the house. So man, Dad had every right to kick me out.
This podcast is brought to you by Blue Nutrition, where science meets performance. Whether you're pushing through intense workouts or just trying to stay sharp day to day, Blue Nutrition has your back. Their powerhouse product, which I take every day because it actually helps me feel great, is their Essential Green Superfood, which blends 34 potent ingredients to help support immunity, energy, digestion, and it actually tastes great. With a wide range of products, Blue Nutrition is trusted by athletes and everyday grinders alike. Blue Nutrition delivers quality you can feel. So if you're serious about your health, head to bluenutrition.co.uk, and they can also be found on nisupplements.com. And if you're listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off with discount code ROUNDTABLE10. Blue Nutrition, fuel your potential. Somebody you need that hard reset though, don't you?
I needed it.
When you were sleeping in your car then, what was your lowest moment or lowest thought?
This was always meant to be the way.
Oh really?
I was convinced at a certain point that everything of which was said growing up
was true.
So that hit me.
That's a heavy one.
Yeah, but then also just like, that's a choice.
Yeah. Was there a lie you were telling yourself during that period? Like, were you, like, before you came to the realization of it being a choice? Was there a lie you were telling yourself that was almost like, you know, some people be the victim, it's never my fault type lie?
Oh yeah, I was there. I was very much victim. I was like, oh, it's fucking them. Then like, even in relation to, like, let's say again, I shouldn't have done that. And I always felt it was like, why me? Because let's say if I bring it back to my household, my mum and dad back then, they would have came in on me a lot stronger. My brother was grand, even though he was not, also not, he was being himself, like, but he didn't get it as bad as me. So that's just how I seen it. And then I would have been very much, let's say, you could say the black sheep in the family. So I wouldn't go against the norm, as in like I didn't want to have the job. I'd sit, like there was discussion. I was sitting at the table with my ma, and we were going through finances and everything at one point, and I was in a job that I was getting €2,300 per month, and my bills were 1,900. And she was like, "You have to pull back somewhere." Okay. I was like, I can't. I was like, the only position I have to do was like earn more. So that's what actually hit me. So then I just thought back to that, and I was like, right, okay, just flip it around.
So what actually changed then? Like circumstances or identity, or was that it there when your mum sat you down with?
No, that was like a year beforehand.
Oh, a year beforehand.
So I thought back to that, and if I'm being honest, what actually pushed me on was my ex's dad. Not that he'd done anything, but I saw, like, I was able to go into the house every so often, and I saw him a lot more at that time because I only started going out with her throughout the course of that year. But I seen as to how hard working he was, and they had a family of like 13, so he was the sole provider for the whole family. I was just seeing him just flat out working, and not, even though he had every reason to be upset and complaining, he just got up, still got his shit done. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's the attitude I need to be going with, and that's what we're done.
I think a lot of people miss the just do the shit part of it. Like
it's the boring thing, because it's the boring stuff that people overlook. Like, they get too caught up on this basically engine sale thing. Get too caught up on the destination, feel that they need motivation to get them through everything, and then that's where they fuck up.
And fast validation too. People think if they do a little bit of work, everything's gonna work out, or they're gonna get somebody pat them on the back, and you're going, no, it takes fucking years of on your own doing shit you don't want to do before you get to the point that you think you're going to get to. It's again, fucking social media.
Yeah,
you see one in a million overnight successes, and then you think that's the way it should be. And you're going, nah, doesn't happen.
Yeah.
What did being homeless teach you? Was there anything that period, or even just living in your car, taught you?
Yeah, the way, exactly. This is actually the where this all stemmed from. I thought back on everything over the past number of years, as to how I was holding myself, why, let's say, I was getting annoyed, why I was letting my emotions control me the way that they were. And I noticed it being, let's say, a certain pattern sort of things. But I thought for so long I wasn't, let's say, motivated, or I wasn't consistent. But it wasn't that I wasn't consistent, I wasn't motivated. It was the emotion that was controlling everything that was causing me to fuck up. So it was just change around.
Do you think you needed to hit rock bottom?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of region beta paradox? Or region beta fallacy? No. It's about things being worse is better for you. So it's like you, if your mom and dad wouldn't have threw you out, you would have kept going the way you were going. So things were shit.
I was too,
but they weren't so bad.
Yeah.
So because things got worse, they forced you to change. So that's what that means.
That's just exactly, and even with that kind of stuff, like I could have, like there was no reason as to why I couldn't have not just gone and got a normal job. You know what I mean? I chose that to say I made it harder on myself. It was, now looking back, I probably, from what I know now about myself, unconsciously I made it harder on myself intentionally to reinforce more pressure from maybe stories and shit that I heard. I don't know. But from what I know now, that was definitely, it created more of a need to prove. You know what I mean? So the thing that I was letting control me and let's say get me to that position of, let's say, with emotions feeling so small, then my emotions come out in the way that it was, turn it as in like I can then do something with this to get me to where obviously I want to be. And that's when everything started to change. That's when I went and got the mics the next day, and then that's when I was like fucking just walking around the bleeding shops trying to do it.
But before this podcast, I actually mentioned this, Sean, that I seen one of his posts. You spent your last €100 on mics.
Oh yeah, 100 or 150 or something. Yeah.
I think I seen the screenshot actually. If you're having it, you posted that.
Yeah,
that's a big gamble. Like whenever you're,
I don't even remember as to why I was doing it. Because a lot, like I'd done the social media then, but I wouldn't have been very much big into like. I'm friends with Sean Casey, so I'll say the way him with his, like he was younger than me. You know what I mean? But so he would have had like a lot more with his stories and a lot more people younger. They have like Snapchat videos and recording everything naturally. I didn't do that. You know what I mean? For me, like if I was out with like friends and all that kind of stuff, that would be like, what is your phone doing now? You know what I mean? Why are you recording? And like it would be nearly slagged and laughed at to some degree. So with that, I don't know, I was trying to document as much as I could because I knew, I don't know, mate, I always had a belief when I was younger that I always wanted to try to get over, so I just started. But I even think that screenshot was to send to Caitlin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a little bit stuck here.
Fuck's sake. Let me see here. Do you ever miss the hunger of that season?
No, not really. Because I know I'm back in it now, but not really, no, because as much as it did serve me, you could say, it was coming from a place of pain and it was coming from a place of ego. I definitely needed it to happen, but it was all coming from a place of pain, ego and scarcity. And then from that, it caused me to unconsciously fuck it up, as in the sense I was so much go. I started to bite off too much, that obviously more than I could chew. And then from that, it caused me to just end up feeling from me doing so much that I was end up doing the right thing, as in like I had this need to prove, I had to prove everybody wrong. You know what I mean? I had to have all this fucking, I had to do this, so I'm gonna have to fucking and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of nice times with being able to bring people out for dinner and not have to check as to what was spent. You know what I mean? It's nice in that sense. But it was all that kind of stuff and coming from a place of ego, and that is what fucked me up long term. And if you're operating from that place, I think regardless, at a certain point you will fuck yourself up long term. So even though it served me, I don't miss it, because you don't need it.
Don't need it. But it's good in the sense that you're able to take that lesson where you don't need that hunger anymore. Like you have it without.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's well and good me saying this now, and that's why I'm saying, like, some people could listen to this and be like, oh yeah, but like you might need that to fucking initiate the change, which is true. But a lot of people, I do feel, if you're in like say that bad spot as to what actually needs to be done, they could be having so much shit go on in their lives and they don't know what direction to actually go. Sometimes they just need to just maybe go in that direction, just giving them that choice. You know what I mean? That can take a little bit of pressure off and stress off to refocus their head.
You can kind of relate it to, like, I know it's very, very simple, like very minimal compared to big life choices, but the same as like a procrastinator. Procrastinator, you will leave something to the last minute until you have no choice but to get it done. Yeah. And then all you're doing is going from here to baseline of I've done just enough to get by. Where if you wouldn't be a procrastinator, you'd be going from here to here, you know, rather than always just catching up to just enough.
Yeah, you could say that. Like that'd be similar as Parkinson's law to some degree. Time length on actually doing a task. Like there was studies and everything done. Now I know for the most part it's a stupid thing to do, but let's say there's studies and everything done. Like if you have somebody who's let's say an assignment, and you have a month to do it, and then you give it to somebody 24 hours beforehand, typically the person who has to do it 24 hours beforehand is going to get a better job done than the other person who has the whole month to get it done because they're overanalyzing. They are being very much over procrastinating. Oh, is this right? You know what I mean? It's just more so get it done, do it.
Do you like South Park?
South Park?
Yeah.
I used to watch it, yeah.
Used to watch it?
Yeah.
So I remember years ago, actually, I know it sounds like a curveball, but it's okay. I remember years ago, I would have watched them as they came out. Like me and a mate every week would have watched them as they came out. And there was one week we were sitting and we're like, we've seen, 5-10 minutes in, you go, we've seen this episode. Like, we've definitely seen this. Like, this is an old episode. Straight on to Google. They had a power cut in the studio and they couldn't get the episode over to Fox or ABC or whatever it was at the time. So they had a power cut that day, couldn't get the episode delivered in time to the studio to get it out that night. So the studio had to air an old episode. We're like, what the fuck's this about? Turns out they write their episodes in a week.
Yeah.
So they don't. So when they go off air, they don't spend a year writing the next 8 or 10 episodes.
Yeah.
They give themselves a deadline. So episode airs, we start writing the next one for next week and start animating and get it all done. And the reason they do that is because it stops them overthinking. Yeah. So it's like if we think something's funny, it's going in. We don't have time to go back and think about it again. If we think it's funny, it's going in and staying and done, move on. And that's how they do all their jokes. It's just they don't overthink them. Yeah,
it's the best way to do it. Like obviously, let's say we've just been in the social media space, I've obviously talked to a lot of people, and you do see people with these mad content strategies and we're going to batch this many videos and then we're going to get all these edited and we're going to do this, and then they end up posting them and then they're not going to post that, take them down. You're over procrastinating, actually just doing the thing. You know what I mean? As opposed to, I'm not saying that my videos do all too well, but I know obviously it's help. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but it's finding what works for you. I do mine on the day. I know, let's say for example, Sean Casey just does his on the day and then posts it that day. Then I know a lot of other people that I know as well, they've recorded that day up. You know what I mean? Whether that be even sending it to an editor, they don't have time to procrastinate. But if you're sitting there with loads of videos, you're like, oh, I need to have the perfect amount of stuff put to the side and all this kind of crack to be able to edit it more appropriately, to have, let's say, the backlog in case things go wrong, just fucking get it done. Like, you know what I mean? And that over preparation, I feel can slow you down. Just have 50% of an idea, just do
it. So you don't do any plans for your content?
I plan the album, like, don't get me wrong, like you have to sit down and...
Oh, I mean you plan, but like you're not thinking over the next month I'm going to do X, Y, Z. It's like what I feel like on that day.
I probably should do it that way, like as in like having some form of structure, but I haven't. That's not by choice, as in like I feel I've just always been too scattered and too like... Over the past 2 years, I've more so always just been in like survival mode, so busy and not structured with trying to get everything. But that was coming from everything of which I already said. So now going forward, when everything gets a lot more stable, I will have like, let's say, structure, knowing as to what I want to post on certain days.
But from the roundabout way, it's worked for you.
Like, roundabout way, it's worked. Yeah.
Like you've grew pretty fast. You've grew pretty large.
I know people say that, but really, I'm doing like 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? So it's not really.
But there's people doing it 4 or 5 years and haven't grown at all.
That's true.
Yeah. You know, it's that comparison thing. You're fair enough. You haven't got millions and millions of followers, but you have a couple 100,000. Yeah. And there's people posting every day and no one's watching.
You see, the thing is though, you can post every day, but you don't want to be like being consistent is good. You know what I mean? It is good. And I feel a lot of people get in their head about, I drew up a post about this there recently, and I actually used Sean as a comparison, because what I found fascinating about that post was, and I had a feeling that's why I was like, I did plan this, so I was like, I can do a follow-up now to this, I reckon. And I was correct, because the comments, same video, about consistency, I was talking about time compounded over days, like let's say doing the thing over X amount of years. Yeah. Some people saw that as comparison. Some people saw that as metrics equals, let's say, a scoreboard. Then other people were seeing it as in like I was just trying to slag them or do something. Other people were seeing it as, let's say, nearly like a threat on them in different ways. So you can have all these different factors, but it comes down, as I said, like as to how you perceive it. But with, let's say, the social media and like trying to be consistent, putting up the stuff and being, let's say, consistent at doing a certain thing, that can cause, and they miss a day or 2 days, they can feel like you stop, like, oh, what's the point? You know what I mean? All these other people are doing X, Y, and Z. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if you look at, let's say, say me and Sean again, we've gone away for like a week, you know what I mean? No content. Yeah. You know what I mean? But other people do, like, Jesus, what's going on? And it's the same with, like, let's say, fat loss or whatever it may be, content, whatever it is. So if you look at it more so from a long-term standpoint, as opposed to, let's say, people relying on the motivation to do it, that's just how you stay in the game long, and having the structure, the system, the the framework around as to who you are, that's what's going to have your content out, but planning it in a way, not just throwing up stuff to throw it up, but also then focusing on refining and getting better. You know what I mean? That's why social circle, you know what I mean? Like jumping into that.
Yeah.
Because I was consistently posting shit content. You know what I mean? I didn't learn.
I joined social circle because I wasn't posting content. And I'm still not posting content. Like I said to you before the episode, actually, it was, I originally joined for branded. My plan was, that's why I bought these mics. I originally planned to make content for branded. I just started thinking, going, do people really give a fuck about t-shirts? Like, what content am I going to make about t-shirts that I can keep making over and over and over again?
Yeah.
I was like, and then I started getting in my own head going, but somebody will watch. But who? Is other people doing what I'm doing? I don't want them following me. I want customers. And it just got too much in my head. And then obviously the idea for the podcast, well, not the idea for the podcast. I've had this idea for about 3 years. And then you talked about cost of like entry and, you know, going in. Got that like last year, and I'd bought the domain. So I bought the website for the podcast. And I bought it for 2 years. And then last year I got the renewal. I was like, fuck, I just said not like I already had the idea. I eventually committed to it enough to buy the domain. Yeah. And then haven't done fuck all since. I was like, so there's 2.5 years wasted. And I've made no progress with the podcast. I've had no conversations. I've grew no followers on social media. I've literally scaled to zero. And all I've cost myself is time. I'm now 3 years older. So like last year I made the decision, right, fucking build this studio, get shit going, sink the cost into it, and then I've no choice but to keep going for, but to actually make it happen.
Yeah. That is obviously a good move to actually go, but doing like you're putting pressure on doing the obviously thing that could be somewhat similar as in like me shaving the beard for that goal as to what I have. But then obviously it comes down to like, let's say with over the 3 years of obviously trying to do it, and I understand obviously stuff can obviously happen, things can get in your way. But would it be correct in saying there could be a fear there?
Oh, it was definitely a fear. Number one was I hated social media because I had a previous business that was a fitness brand, run it for about 7 years, and it kind of took the love out of social media for me. Yeah. And then I started seeing it then as a job. So once that didn't work, I then personally didn't use social media because
the fitness side of things didn't work.
At a fitness clothing brand.
At the fitness clothing brand.
Yeah. So I started seeing social media as a job rather than something fun and entertaining. So once I closed down, I just didn't use social media at all. And one of the things was whenever I started this podcast, I have to start using social media again.
But you don't have fear of that? Was that there sitting from the other two things as to what obviously, let's say, failed?
Well, 100% failed, yes. Did fail. From a roundabout point away, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it didn't fail. So even though that business didn't work, it made money, but never made enough money to give me. It always had to reinvest back into himself. So that business was just cycling cash that they never seen. So it wasn't a business at all. But it led me into doing what I'm doing now. So you can take it as a failure or take it as a...
You take it as a lesson.
As a stepping stone to where I am now.
But that's what I was saying more so what I'm saying failure, as in as to how we perceive it. It's like you bring it back to school. If you got an F, that's going to... it can make you feel a certain way. You know what I mean? And that can cause... That they can create that like... It's like something in the back of your head and you're pulling you back. You know you need to do it.
Oh, it's something holding you back,
You know what I mean?
So I'll be honest, right? I really don't know. I've never really actually sat and thought about it. I just know I spent 2 years always making excuses, and I was always busy. The excuse was always busy. I'm busy with work. I'm busy with this. I'm busy with that. I haven't got time. I was making excuses.
How do you feel when, let's say, if you were to look back at that and you saw as to how it obviously went, because you obviously put a lot of effort in with obviously the first two things, So would I be correct in saying there could be, let's say, you were saying rejection, the relationship sort of things, weren't you? Similar.
Yeah, I would probably hold some of my identity in the relationships.
And that's the thing, though. With those emotions, you could say it's relationship.
Yeah.
But they stem into every other area of your life. Because just because, let's say, somebody self-sabotages and they lean into food and the binge eating, that self-sabotage is going to show up in relationships. That's going to show up in their job as to how they hold themselves, because it's the same pattern. So that's what I was saying in relation to, like, as to how did you feel, perceive it? Because if, let's say, you had that feeling, rejection, shame, whatever it may be, that could have been, like I say, reinforced. It's a natural instinct to run.
To run from success or failure again.
It's the same feeling in the sense of, like, if you have fear, shame, or rejection, it feels the exact same as danger. So body, psychological, physiological, run. You know what I mean? As if it's a lion out on the road trying to kill you. It's going to respond the exact same way. And that causes that over procrastination and everything to come in, because your head is trying to fucking think of all these different things as to why you should or shouldn't actually do the thing. And it's like going back and forth with each other. But if you actually just, this can be a silly analogy. Let's say pizza, right? I want to get a pizza, but I'm on prep. I know I want the pizza, but my head is going back and forth saying, oh, you shouldn't do this, or maybe, you've done this today, you could have the pizza, all this kind of stuff. But realistically, if that starts to happen, it's hard to block it out, because we're always trying to think with the logic side of things. Yeah. But you already know what it is you have to do, is just actually doing it. But that's the hardest part, is just actually starting. Because when you actually see that, then your nervous system starts to settle. Because your nervous system thinks that you're going to fucking die. That's more or less it.
Is the doing it not having the pizza or having the pizza?
Not having, as in, like, you know that you shouldn't have the pizza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're nervous, and from that, that one is a little bit more of a flip, because that's comfort as to what it is you want. But you're also then pushing into, let's say, an unknown territory.
Yeah.
And so that unknown is the hard part, that your body then subconsciously is then causing you to have this spiral to bring you back into comfort. So then you, let's say, do the thing to slow you down, to not help you get to where you want to be, because it's familiar. You know what I mean? So your body will try to lean more into that place of familiar as to where it is, as opposed to what potentially has happened that it doesn't want to go back to, because as to how that'll probably hit, to obviously prevent you actually going to be doing it. So it's just like a little bit of a flip. So the pizza would be comfort. So even though you're self-sabotaging, you're doing something that you're familiar with that makes you feel good. But then if you look at, let's say, the content or whatever maybe there's other people will want to do, and if they went through, let's say, school and they were feeling rejected, or they were getting bullied, or they weren't made feel good, or they're getting sacked from like whatever fucking job, and they say they're going to start something new, that procrastination is going to come in their head, because the unknown for them is doing it, and retreating back is the thing as well that they're familiar with.
I think a lot of people get caught up in the comfort side of life, which I think, I hate to use the word settling, but people settle for comfort. And I seen a Jimmy QR quote, actually, like, brilliant comedian, love him as a comedian, but the man is so wise and so intelligent. Like, when you actually, like, when you see interviews of him talking, it's actually Stephen Bartlett's podcast. He said, though, it was, how much does it cost to give up on your dreams? And for most people, it's about 35 grand a year. And you're sitting there going, fuck, that's actually right. Like, I will give you my life for the next 40 years for 35 grand a year, and give up on doing anything that I might or could potentially do. And it was a heavy thought for me to be like, right, there is a cost, there's a price. Everyone's got a price. Like, would I give up this podcast? Would I give up the business if someone gave me a certain figure? Could I live comfortably? Could I, do I get more purpose out of having these conversations and run my own business, or do I get more purpose out of being completely comfortable in life, being able to provide for a family and kids and have luxuries on top of it? It's a fucking hard choice.
It is a hard choice.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be a hard one to say unless obviously it comes to it. No, I wouldn't even know what to do.
I don't know what the figure is.
No.
That's something I would need to be right in front of you.
See, the thing is, they could give me the figure, and I feel I'll still do something. Because you'd be sitting around like, you will go on a holiday for a while, like, oh, this is steady. You'll get to a certain point. Jackpot. Yeah, because I don't know if you're familiar. You're familiar with the 6 core drivers?
No.
Right, so you have 6 core drivers. So you have certainty, uncertainty, uncertainty, growth, love. I forget the other ones, but I'll just talk about uncertainty and certainty. You need uncertainty in your life because you don't understand. That's what keeps you going. You don't know as to what is actually going to happen, and that there is, like, you could say, is the belief as to what it is that you're trying to achieve. And then you have certainty, which is obviously something that you want to keep you stable, give you the safety, give you the connection. But let's say the uncertainty sort of things, the jackpot. When you were doing, let's say, the slot machines in Vegas or whatever it may be, you're scrolling on your phone, you don't know what you're going to land on. And then you just keep swiping, or you just, let's say, keep pulling the jackpot. Is it going to happen? Is it not? And then that's going to spike dopamine. But if you're just there and it's jackpot, are you going to do that forever? You know what I mean? So it brings it into that whole thing. You could very, very easily come like, what's the point? You need that uncertainty to grow. And I feel if you don't actually put your head down and actually do something that fuels the uncertainty, as well as obviously to give you, let's say, that level of certainty, which can stem into different things in life, which can be love, can be connection, can be obviously stability. You will become very stagnant, and that will cause resentment in you. So you always have to be progressing in some area. And that could be, even like, if you did take a bit of time, that could be progressing with your family. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bringing them up, you know what I mean? So that pulls back into certainty. You You know what I mean? So it doesn't just have to be job. It's just finding a different meaning.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I asked you before, but where did you learn all this? Is this all self-taught or
Self-taught.
like self-taught?
A lot of it is self-taught. I've done 3 courses over the past 2 years, smaller ones. A lot of I've done therapy every week, more or less, for the past 3 years. I was lucky with the therapist as to what I have had, Charlotte. She's a neuroscientist. She was with TMP initially, so that was total mental performance. And what really sparked my interest was Kieran. He owns TMP. It's and with that I became glued on it. And it was actually at the social circle talking the coaches mentorship when I was in Marbella, and he said something, at every level there's a devil. And I couldn't leave him alone. I've never been like this towards somebody when it comes to, let's say, listening to a talk. I just kept going over asking questions, asking more, signed up straight away to the whole thing.
I think I've got the idea in my head of what that means, but what does that mean?
What do you mean? At every level there's a devil?
Yeah.
What you like to use this? Did you ever play Crash Bandicoot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Show me it.
Yeah. So Crash Bandicoot, you know, when you're progressing, you're going up the levels as a boss, then there's a bigger boss, and there's a bigger boss. But you get better as the levels go on, you become more skilled in the game. Exact same thing. There's always going to be a new boss in life, or a new, let's say, devil that you have to face. And that's as to how you get to the next level. But when you get to that boss, that will be the self-sabotage. And let's say when you're going through a fat loss phase, there's always going to be a week where you can get, like, you're looking good. You know what I mean? You're looking really good, and you're like, dude, I've been here before. Like, if you push again, that could be like a place where you've never been, and that's the same instinct because your mind doesn't know what that is, so it tries to pull you back. So with the boss, and let's say every level there's a devil, there's always room to improve. Because even the other way I said to you there about, let's say, the need to prove and the rejection. The rejection I still feel is somewhat there, but the need to prove isn't there anymore, because that's me going up a level. I know now where I've been going wrong is feeling that everybody's going to be right, I'm going to be a failure, but from me feeling small. So initially it was rejection, scarcity, and rejection and scarcity, and from that obviously created the need to prove. Now it's obviously different, but still somewhat similar, but it's a different level of feeling.
Yeah. So when you first said that quote, I was thinking about it in terms of business. So it was pretty similar. It was like getting to a certain level and then having to make the next big investment in time or finance to get to the next point. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
So you're fighting that balance of, do I really want to take all this risk just to get a wee bit ahead, or am I comfortable where I am?
Yeah, this is why I think I will refer to the gym for this one. I think gym is great. Obviously, gym is great. The gym is great for your mental health. But the way I like looking at the gym, I feel you can explain so much stuff about life. In the sense that weights, progressive overload.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's the stress that you put on your body. If you want to obviously progress, you want to grow the muscle, you have to obviously create more of a stimulus to encourage that muscle to grow. But you're not going to see it for a long time. That's the delayed gratification. You know what I mean? So the delayed gratification is, I personally feel, for me, is one of the best traits that I have. But that happened from just starting and understanding that everything that's worthwhile takes time. But that's where everyone else falls down, because they think they're going to get it in fucking 6 months or whatever, maybe, or 3 months, or whatever it is. I think there's a quote: people overestimate what they can do in 3 months, and overestimate as they want.
What is it? It's people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10. Yeah, or whatever numbers you want to do.
Yeah, whatever ones you want to use.
But 100%. Like, I use the gym one there. I do love the gym example, because it's like, you want to pick up heavy stuff, pick up as heavy as you can. See, next time you can pick up a little bit more. Or you want to run as far as you can. Next time you can run a little bit further. Yeah. You know, you just have to keep pushing that little bit, but you have to fucking do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It does teach you a lot of different life lessons as to who you are, I think.
It teaches you a lot of discipline too. Because, like, with the nutrition side of things, especially in today, you walk into every shop and it's fucking Mars bars and cakes and this and that and sugary drinks and everything. Like, you go into, even socializing now, everybody wants to go out for lunch, everybody wants to go out for dinner, everybody wants to go get a McDonald's. You know, oh, let's go out for drinks. Oh, we get drinks, right? We get a pizza afterwards. Yeah. You know, and then obviously all the badness that comes with drinking too. where it teaches you discipline, where you have to say no because you have to be looking at a future goal you want, and you have to sacrifice today's comfort for it.
Yeah. That can obviously come in different lights though. You know what I mean? Like, it is great. It does, gym teaches you structure, organization, but then you could also be the person that you're like so all in. Like, your identity is the gym. You know, nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with it. But then you'd be looking at it, right, okay, is that affecting life in other areas? You know what I mean? So I was trying to find that nice balance.
You've competed in shows?
I compete in shows and I've done like 10 photo shoots or something, yeah.
How do you find those phases?
The shows?
The shows and the photo shoots,
every single time I say to every client that I have, it's not about the photo shoot. The photo shoot, you can say, is like the cherry on top, getting the pictures, you know, give that to your wife, put it at the end of the bed. But like, it's what you learn about yourself when you're doing it, because that's the way you say, it's the delayed gratification. It is the structure, the organization, it's the saying no when you would have been, let's say, from an environment standpoint, especially as to where I'm from, it's saying no to certain things, like having a drink. It's nearly like, something wrong, you're okay. And that's nearly like, let's say, ingrained into the culture. But the only thing that I don't like about it, creates more so that lone wolf mentality. And that's when the environment side of things can really come into play. And people around you, let's say husbands, wives, they can become very negative if one's doing better than the other. And it can create this, it can create a negative headspace, but the reasons to why I'm saying that you learn so much about yourself, because you also learn as to who's around you. You know what I mean? As to who's actually in your life, if they're actually just drinking buddies or whatever, maybe.
Do you like the lone wolf thing?
What?
Do you like the lone wolf thing, or do you like community?
No, fuck that. No.
Fuck that?
No, no connection.
Yeah.
I need
that's kind of the premise, the idea behind this podcast. Anyway. So Results Roundtable, the name came from, I believe we can go further, faster together. Because I can sit here with you today, have a conversation, and I might only get one little nugget of advice, but I can then take it into my own life, into my own business, whether it's connections with my partner, connection with friends, connection with my family, or into my business and my systems, and even how I treat my staff. Anything, it could be anything at all, no matter how small or big. But I get that one bit of nugget from you, community. I learned something, and you might have had to learn that the hard way.
We did,
but I got it for free, whatever it was. I have another conversation in a few weeks with somebody else. Again, they might have had to learn a lesson the hard way, and it cost them months or years. If I can pick it up off them for free, then it saves me those months or years of troubles.
Yeah.
But you have to be open enough to take advice.
Yeah, you have to be open to take. Now, it depends who you're taking advice from. You know what I mean? Like, that's a fact that, like, there's no point me listening to
the boy at the end of the bar with 10 pints in him.
Yeah, or even, you know, like my mom about business. She never done the whole business sort of things as a normal job. So this is something that she hasn't done before. So she'll become more sort of a place like playing it safe. You know what I mean? But from somebody who has done it, business, you get it.
Do you find your mom who's ever done business will be protective over the amount you work?
Yeah.
I found that. I don't think they get it.
She's my situation at the moment. She's more stressed about it than I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, probably because I should the possibility of going back. Yeah. But yeah, so she's more stressed about it than I am. But it obviously, I know it's coming from, let's say, a place of love. But as to how they show it, then that's like, that falls in line with our relationships. You know what I mean? Like, it's as to how you show it can be different. You know what I mean? Because the feeling creates the behaviour. You know what I mean? So the behaviour shows as to what the true intentions are. Can
you pick up when you're behaving wrongly?
I can now,
quite quickly. Yeah,
very.
Because you said about there, the feeling creates the behaviour, and the first thing that came into my head was like someone saying something to you, and then the way you pick that up.
Yeah, to be honest, this is something that I've done over the past year. I didn't really tell anybody about it, because it's also a bit of, I didn't probably say it could be deemed as a weird thing. So at the end of the day, not every day, but majority of the time, I had prompts on my phone in the sense of how did I hold myself today? Where do I need to improve? What conversation threw me that I could have held myself better in? And then with that, I was just able to pick things up a lot easier, to have a lot more awareness as to how I hold myself, as to who I am, who I want to have in my life, as to who I don't, where I can try improve, let's say on the grammar, where I need to improve from a knowledge standpoint, so I'm able to consistently try to become better. So that was something I done. I feel it's very helpful, but obviously it's not really a normal thing, you could say, that people do. But it's something that I felt helped me.
No, it's not a normal thing, but then
it's just journaling. That's what I.
But then what is normal?
Yeah, no, it's. I knew it suited me from me wanting to, because I didn't, let's say, go to college for, let's say, trying to understand the whole psychology side of things for years as to how some people would do. So, as I said at the start, let's say with the whole fucking personal training, I was learning and doing. I would take somebody on who had, let's say, I just shoot myself in the foot, but there was never any issues. PCOS. I was trying to have PCOS. No, I know everything. You know, I didn't know a fucking thing.
Yeah, straight on the Google.
Yeah, straight. Obviously, at that time though, it was looking up all these fucking different studies. You know what I mean? Trying to pull everything together, trying to understand them, break them all down. I used a subscription called Mass, because they had all the top studies, but simplified it and done like a roundtable podcast, break it down so it was a lot easier to understand, a lot more practical down for me to be able to implement. So for me, that, I suppose it does come back to the urgency and the pressure caused me to learn faster, but always acting in that way can obviously mess you up.
I think that's again another trait of an entrepreneur though. Like I'm offering you money to do this thing. You don't know how to do it. But you take the money and you say yes.
You're gonna learn everything.
And you're gonna go fucking learn. Where someone who's not an entrepreneur will say, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a very hard line.
You have to be adaptable.
Yeah. Like we take, probably shouldn't say this in the podcast because it might have some like customers listening. We take orders for things. And the customer's like, oh, can you do this? And I'm just like, yeah, no problem. And then they pay the invoice and I'm like, fuck. Yeah. I gotta figure this.
Yeah.
I've never done that before, but I'm gonna figure it out and then I know how to do it.
Yeah, no, that is true. But like even that though, you can say that the way I look at that now, for me, let's say I'll just go off my experience from my life, in the sense of like I said, the scarcity. If somebody offered me, I need it. You know what I mean? But that's from me looking at my mum and dad growing up, trying to can we afford this? We have to budget for this here now. You know what I mean? Like, and seeing that worry sometimes from their, let's say, level of care of trying to obviously be able to look after me, look after brother, do what we have to do there. So when, let's say me, then I would be the same as yourself. When somebody was offering me money, I was like, I need it now. I'm going to learn it no matter what. As opposed to like my situation, definitely last year, I bit off way more than I chew. I should have said, you know what, I'm all good, get the systems and everything in place to be able to continue to scale, because you're only as good as like the systems and the framework as to what you built around yourself.
I would say that's why my love language is probably giving. I would say it's my mum and dad.
I'm overgiving. Yeah. Overgive same thing. Yeah.
Because we grew up, didn't have much, but we always had enough. And my mum and dad always took care of that. So like they didn't run about in fancy clothes. They didn't go out for dinner. They didn't go out for drinks. But if we needed something, we got it. There was always food on the table. I even remember like if it was an Xbox game or something I wanted. Not that I wanted one every week, but if there was one coming out in a few weeks and I really, really wanted it, I got it. If I asked for one next week, they'd be like, nah. You know, but if there was one or a couple of years that I really wanted, I got it. They always give everything they had. You know, and there was a few holidays, looking back on now, we went to Florida 2 or 3 times. But the other holidays was a caravan down in Mullinmore, down in Sligo. And my entire family shared this caravan. So like it was like every summer you want to spend 2 weeks in the caravan. I think I talked about some podcasts before, actually. And you would have done like a half week with your cousins before you, a week with your own family, and then a half week with your cousins after you. So, or you would have done like a week with one cousin and a week with the other cousins. Yeah. And our entire family like shared this caravan. So like every summer was fucking great. But back then I looked at it as all the other kids are going to the plane. They're going to fucking Saloon, they're going to fucking Tenerife, and I was focused on what I hadn't got. But see, looking back on it now, I'm going, them summers were the fucking best summers of my life. I got to spend all summer with my fucking like cousins and family, messing about in the fucking caravan, you know, class. But and even the holidays to Florida. Sorry to relate back to the parents thing. Like we're going to Florida this year, and I'm like, fuck me, it's expensive.
But that's the thing though, like the way you, let's say you frame that there, right? Because I know in my, I love clothes, right? So I like having nice clothes, I always have, but I didn't always. Yeah. And I said, not that I didn't have it. Yeah. So let's say, for example, so I was able, if you looked at it, the same thing as flipping the meaning, you saw your friends go off on the plane. Yeah. Would you say that you would be as driven as you are now? If that's obviously it's hard to say, but it brings back to what you were saying about complacency. You know what I mean? So if you had that different life, that need to run your own business, you know what I mean? Be able to put yourself in a financial position, knowing that it's your choice and decisions happen to you. You know what I mean? It creates that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So even though it can obviously be hard, then it always has a fucking different purpose as to how it is that we shape everything gets shaped for us. Yeah,
I've never actually thought about it before, but looking back on it, like because I would have been comparing what it didn't have instead of focusing on what it did have,
Yeah, that's why you have to close
maybe it's the
reference.
reason.
I used to walk around in extra large, and this is where I probably should have been a medium. I was always big, but like extra large. I don't know if you remember the brand Duffer, like Echo. Yeah, shit. Like all the lads were going out. Like Team Adidas was big at the time, and the Adidas Originals and fucking all the new Nike gear. I didn't have any of that. It was big baggy bottoms, hot little holes and everything in the middle. They tried, you know what I mean, but it wasn't. So that was my like little push at the time.
I remember being young and these new like Nike sweatpants come out or sweatshirts come out, and everybody at fucking school was getting them. As like to my mum, like, fuck, I really want them, and like everybody's got them, and like she bent and she did get them from her.
Yeah, no, they done the same for me every so
But
often.
do you remember the shiny material?
What? Yeah.
So like they were really thin shiny material.
Yeah.
And we went to like a after school club. So it wasn't. I remember the end of the night running, sliding on my knees in the carpet and burnt the 2 knees out of them. First night I wore them, and my mum was like, "You're never getting anything ever again."
Yeah.
That's like no. Yeah. Like I had to walk home in shame, going, I can't show her, but she's going to find out.
Yeah, I've been there now. Different aspects.
Fuck. But no, like definitely, maybe because I was comparing in as a kid, like what I didn't have. Maybe that is why now I'm pushing for more. Love language. I do definitely do get from my parents because I watched them give everything they had and sacrifice to give it. So I'd say that's why now I'm a giver. Like I get more enjoyment out of seeing someone else happy than me happy.
Yeah.
But
you can nearly sacrifice your own happiness in the process.
Yeah, but if that makes me happy, is it also selfish?
Yeah, because, I get you.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm making you happy to make me happy. So it's not a selfless act, but it should be a selfless act, but it's not selfish because we both get out of this.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to try, like, it's that push-pull, you know what I mean? Like, and that's why I said it's essential that you meet each other in the middle, because somebody could very easily take advantage of that.
They have done in the past, like, especially different axes and stuff, like, you know, it was give and no receive. Yeah. And like, you can only ever show on before you go, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? There's really so much I can give without getting anything back here. We touched on business there, but it's actually my next section after masculinity. So what does being a strong man actually mean to you?
Independence.
And
respect.
Yeah.
Growing up, I always felt that I was always, as I said already about, like, let's say, feeling small. I always, like, had, let's say, I was always being in, like, the special ed classes, overweight. I had an eye patch, glasses, teeth in my head, braces, very fat. And obviously ginger hair was a slag at that time. So I had all this going on at the one time. So with that slagging, bullying, naturally, I gave it back and everything too. But I always, even though I gave it back to try and make myself feel bigger, it obviously made me feel a lot smaller. So for now and everything which I obviously want to do going forward, it's just having that level of respect and independence around being able to hold my own.
Yeah, I think it's something people don't realise a lot about men too, is we do value respect a lot. And it doesn't have to be like respect. I could end you if I wanted to. Respect just has to be like, you're a decent human. I respect you.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be the toxic masculinity thing. Leading to the next question. Is modern masculinity confused?
Yeah, I feel, you know, and this is something that I'm very much leaning into because it's actually who I am, but I've been holding back on it too long. Vulnerability. You know what I mean? That's something that is seen as a weakness. But there's a difference between vulnerability and poor me and competent vulnerability in the sense of I'm speaking my truth as to what's going on in my life, not for you to like think any way negative, but to obviously help you grow from my life experiences, because that creates more relatability as to how things are in life, in the sense of if you go outside, you're not going to see like fucking 10 Lamborghinis. You know what I mean? You go on social media, it's going to be so easy to see that. And that then can cause people with the comparison to get very much in their head. That can cause people to, let's say, self-destruct and cause them to have very low self-respect for themselves. So from being, let's say, competent and vulnerable in a sense, that is obviously in a way to help educate, give the people, let's say, the necessary systems around as to why they're actually feeling the way they are. That's, I feel, as to how people become better. But that's something that I feel people see as a weakness. More than a strength, and they're afraid to lean into it, because that also requires going to a place as to what we've been talking about that is very touchy for a lot of people. It's something they've been doing better over the past couple of years, and I try and make a point of it with my girlfriend, not to be vulnerable like you said, as in like poor me,
but just understand.
Yeah.
If you can understand, it's all you need to do. I don't need to talk about it, I don't need your sympathy, but I need you to understand, this is what's going on, or this is how I'm feeling, and this is why, and then I can move on. That's it, done. Do men today lack discipline or direction?
Like systems. Systems. The discipline side of things, I feel it's very much David Goggins' mentality. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing all this online.
Burn the boats, I said earlier.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So you see people who are disciplined and they're doing a thing, but you're not taking a step back. You don't know their life yet. You see them doing the thing. But what is the system as to what it is that they haven't played? Obviously help them do that. So if you understand this, way it brings it back to the patterns. That's, I wouldn't necessarily class myself as like an online coach or a PT anymore. I am. But let's say we're personal trainers and that sort of things. It's helping people be motivated and EX, you know what I mean, do this, have this level of willpower. But not everybody operates in that way, you know what I mean? Like, let's say for me with ADHD, it takes me around 4 times longer to actually nail down a habit. You know what I mean? So understanding that is going to help me have a better system to be disciplined. Then also in the sense of the emotions that controls, let's say, the belief, which is then going to control the identity. So the identity as to who you are, like, that brings the self-sabotage sort of things into it. And that would be somebody saying, I'm not disciplined because I keep fucking eating poorly. Or it could be, let's say, the structure as they're fucking waking up, they're in straight into survival mode for the day. You know what I mean? They have kids, they have their work, they could be living a very busy life, then they're ran ragged throughout the course of the day, and then they come home in the evening time. They're trying to still go to the gym, let's say, and they come home in the evening time, but they just get this mental crash. And that structure and the system as to what they've been operating with has been put in the place of survival, as in the go, go, go. And then when they get to the evening time, that is when the nervous system is like, oh, you know what I mean? Get me back to baseline. And the fastest way to do that isn't necessarily the healthiest way. So when I was going through a lot of stuff that I was going on in my end, my need, let's say, for weed in the evening increased. You know what I mean? I needed the joint to be able to switch off.
Is that the ADHD?
Sorry?
Is that the ADHD?
The ADHD?
Yeah, does the weed help with that?
I'm gonna say it has helped with it, but it doesn't help. It doesn't help with sleep. You know what I mean? Like, I used it as a crutch to block stuff that was going on because my head was always very much go, go, go. And it still is very much go, go, go. You know what I mean? It's hard to obviously get away from that. But I do have systems now in place for the evening time that suit me, for me to wind down. And it comes down to being strict on it, because even with that, your body will be trying to pull you back into what it's familiar with. So even though you could be doing stuff that you know is wrong, but you also then feel somewhat comfortable, but you've been doing it for a period of time, that change is the issue. That change of the emotion that is going to actually give you the belief. That's the actual issue. So it's the system of each one, and that is why people will say they're not disciplined, but they just don't actually understand themselves as to who they are. And that's what makes the difference.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Branded Merch. Do your t-shirts look like they came free with the meal deal? Are you sick of merch and uniforms that look cheap, logos that peel, and tees that shrink after one wash? So are we. At Branded, we make merch that your team will actually want to wear. Whether it's uniforms, event gear, your own brand drops, or community merch, we've got you covered. We use premium blanks, proper printed embroidery, and we're upfront and honest about what works, what doesn't, and most importantly, what looks and feels great. No minimums, quick turnaround, and yeah, we actually care about the end product. If you're listening to this and thinking my team could do with some better threads, visit brandedlimited.co and let's make it happen. That's brandedltd.co. And as a listener to this podcast, first-time customers can get 10% off with code roundtable10 at checkout.
That's a lot to ingest there.
Yeah.
But it's powerful stuff.
Yeah. I probably should work on getting that a little bit short.
I was listening going, good point. All these good points that my memory's terrible.
Yeah, it is that.
So do you think systems are the most powerful thing then?
You can have.
It doesn't matter what they are as long as they're your systems.
It's a system. You know what I mean? It's who you are. Because you can feel that you want to fucking do something. But how is your daily action showing up? Because that's the behaviour. Like, it's very much like, let's say you've said you love somebody. But how are you actionably showing up for it? You know what I mean? Like, it's saying something and feeling a certain way means fuck all unless you have a system to actually do the thing. It's like business. Everybody gets very much confused between personal life and business life. In business life, you can be like, the reason as to why I leaned into this then even more so, because I noticed I was great in some areas but shit in others. I was like, right, why am I good there but not good over here? But it's the stigma I feel from as the way everything now currently is from a day and age standpoint, as to what has been conditioned into us over the years, that business life, And work life is like, you have to go about doing this. If you say to if your boss says to you that you're going to be in work at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're going to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you have a set alarm set, let's say for 6, and you know you have to get up and go to the gym, you have to do whatever it is you have to do your meal prep for the day, fuck, snooze it, because it's for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
But they'll be in work at 8.
they'll be in work at 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? So it's flipping that around and understand as to what's important for yourself and giving meaning. So that's why I was very much big for years, and it's still very much am. And it's something that I realised later on that I unconsciously done years ago when I actually lost all the weight when I was getting to PT, was I wrote down my reason as to why. Because if it's not strong enough, you won't do it.
Do you mind sharing that reason?
Well, the reason as to why I wanted to go about losing weight was initially I was saying I want to attract more girls. You know what I mean? I was fat, I was overweight, I seen the lads go out getting, like, doing as to what it was that they were doing. I was always getting consistently put into the friend zone. Makes sense in the sense of, like, even from earlier on I was saying the girls that I thought you'd go for. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I can try, get there now, but back then, friends on the bits. So with that, I thought that was what I wanted, to be able to attract more girls. But that's surface level. If you break it all down, the confidence, self-respect, self-trust, just very low self-esteem from not living up to the standards as to how I wanted to hold myself. And that is where people get it mixed up. So you don't, like, rise to, like, let's say, discipline and willpower, you fall to your standards.
Fall to your standards. So when people say they're not motivated, they're not disciplined,
Alex,
it's a case of just doing the systems, doing the work.
But it's well and good saying doing the systems, do the work, unless you actually get a deep insight into the person. That's why I do the unbreakable method now. That's why I'm leaning to that.
Yeah, but say for example, I don't know. So say I'm a new client coming on board. Unbreakable method. I'm constantly binge eating. You know, don't know why. And I don't know why, and I can't tell you why. Would it be a case of me going? Would it be a case of you saying, just give it fucking 4 weeks? You know, then you can have all the biscuits and chocolate you want, have all the cakes, give it 4 weeks, and I bet you, when you start to see the change, you'll understand why. Do you think sometimes you need to see the change, or you need to get a little bit of the nugget sauce?
I do understand, as in, like, change needs to come fast for a lot of people to stick to it. But that's what because this hasn't been done before, in the sense in combining the physiology.
Your unbreakable method hasn't been done before?
No, it hasn't been done before. So if you look at combining, people talk about mindset, people talk about fitness, and even, let's say, the mindset kind of stuff, that's obviously very powerful, you know what I mean? But no one's built a system around it, as in, like, how to actually implement this into your life, but with the physiology side of things, to bring it together. So the way I like looking at it, in the sense of, initially I got into this to be able to help people become more confident, drop body fat and build muscle. You know what I mean? Because that's where I was operating from the mindset as to what it was that I had then. That was the belief. Yeah. So that belief caused me to do what I wanted to do. But from working with so many people then over the years, I kept seeing people fall off, even if they had the best training program. They actually had, like, say, the setup as to what suited their life, but they didn't understand the system as to what they was controlling it. So you can help somebody change, let's say, the vehicle, you know what I mean, the cover of the car, you know what I mean, but the cycle, the system is the engine, you know what I mean. So you're basically getting the full NCT, and that's what is going to take you very far.
That's the MOT for anybody in the north.
Yeah.
Here's one for you, right? This is one popped in my head last night. What is 3 things you wish women understood about men?
Basically, is what we were saying, when we try to give and we try to sometimes, let's say, over explain on certain things, and we can nearly become, like, let's say, a coach in a certain way of their life. Yeah. It's not that you're trying to do it in, let's say, an invasive way. You're doing it because you care. But then if you flip that back on us, because that is also our issue, that comes down to us potentially from something that was actually going on years ago, from, let's say, that child nearly fucking screaming, as opposed to, like, let's say, just becoming a man and just like, right, okay, it's up to them. But it is that having that level of care, you know what I mean? And then even, let's say, for example, understanding as to how each person shows love, because girls operate in feelings, we're going to operate for the most part in logic. So let's say, for example, love, you're busy, I'm texting you back through the course of the day, I'm busy. That is me trying, you know what I mean? Just because I'm not going fucking balubas, as some girls might, if we're talking feelings, fairy tale, You know what I mean? That kind of stuff with the white wedding, all this kind of stuff. They operate very much in that place, and it is trying to get that more of a deeper understanding into as to who it is that you're actually with. But I do feel the love language between both, you know what I mean?
It's a big one.
It's a big one. Understanding when we're obviously trying to give, it's not that we're trying to act in a malicious way or whatever it may be, or trying to like put you on the back foot. It's more sort of we're just trying to care and come together. But then obviously, let's say from us doing that, that becomes standoffish, and then we're like, yeah. So it's that understanding there, and then I don't know if this would be you, but like let's say asking questions. Now this is also just come from my experience. Why are you questioning so much? I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah.
Some people could see that as, let's say, jealousy. I more so see it as territorial. In the sense, you're in my life. I want to know still like who's going on with you. How is everything going? So I don't see anything necessarily wrong with it. There's a difference between being jealous and fucking clingy and being as just wanting to know as to how you're going on, who you're surrounding yourself with. Are you okay?
Yeah, I would definitely be inquisitive, but in my head I'm like, I just want to understand. I just want to know and understand, because if I understand, then I can help.
Yeah.
Or, but then other people can see it of like, where were you? Who were you with? There's that type of like jealousy questions.
But then that aspects the difference of what happened then with them. You know what I mean? So it is all that.
But it's also different questions or different reasons you're asking.
And that's why, like, if you even pull it back to, let's say, that video that I threw up with Sean, the comparison, same situation, different truths across the board. You know what I mean? As to how different people will view different things, even though it's the exact same thing.
I liked your granny's video about faith.
Yeah.
What you posted the other day, actually.
Yeah. It's a nice way of looking at it. I just
lovely.
Yeah, no, because she always dragged me around the church. I was an altar boy for a while.
Yeah. Any trauma there?
No, we're all good there, But yeah, no, it's a nice way of looking at it. But the reasons why I was doing it was because I had a conversation with a client there on that day, all or nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and when I was trying to explain it to her, and just obviously break it all down, the all or nothing is a lot of people striving for perfection. But not really many people we don't know what perfection is. You might have an idea from looking at other people living a certain way, but you still don't know. They don't even know if that's perfection. They're just having better systems in place and understanding as they really are to actually try living the way that they want to obviously live. Let's say my nanny going to church every Sunday, going to the church on Thursday, waking up, doing obviously the candles, fucking doing all the stuff that helps with creating the system to live in that life. You know what I mean? And that's where people can very much get overconsumed from, let's say, which is, let's say, the fear of the unknown. You say it's obviously the perfection that you want, but it's certainty. It pulls it back to that. It's the certainty of where you're actually going to get to that you're craving.
Certainty is a big thing. It's like the unknown is a scary place, no matter where you are in life or what sort of sector you're trying to think about. Like whether it's business or relationship or finance or even sports, like it's the uncertainty. But I find sometimes in uncertainty comes excitement.
It's the same feeling. Yeah. Even let's say someone could say I'm extremely anxious. Yeah. Exact same feeling. You know, it's the exact same one.
There's a thought I have on this with like anxiety and anxiousness, right? I think today it's overused.
Anxiety?
100%.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get some. It was years ago actually, and I was in a shop behind it. Or no, it wasn't a shop behind it. I actually made this up in my head. I started to tell a lie that I thought was true. I had this thought years ago of like being behind a girl in the shop, and her saying, her being quiet to the guy behind the counter, coming out and then telling their friends, "Oh my God, I couldn't talk to him. My anxiety was through the roof." But it's like, nah, you had butterflies. You like them. So 20 years ago, we would have said that was butterflies and that was nervousness and excitement, where now it's anxiety. And because you see it as anxiety, you see it as negative. Where we see it as something joyful and happy, but still nervous. So like, and the same thing with so I think today people just jump on the anxiety word too much, and all of a sudden then it's a negative thing.
That's I don't know, this might be a bit touchy, but it's this whole thing of, as well, it's the stigmas of the mental health now that's being tried, because over the past year it's changed. In the sense it's a lot more socially accepted. In the sense of, like my mum, for example, she wanted to get me tested for ADHD when I was like 19, but she didn't, because she was afraid as to how I'd view it, but realistically she was also afraid as to how things would be viewed from a label standpoint then on me. And I somewhat say maybe even, let's say, friends and acceptance maybe around there from her day and age. That's the way how she grew up. Now, fast forward obviously a number of years, the day and age that we're in now, it's so much more socially accepted. It's nearly like, for me growing up when I was in the special ed classes, ADHD and all this kind of stuff, you're made feel dumb. Now it's like superpower, it's all this. And yeah, rightfully so, but people now use all those anxiety, I would say depression, maybe sometimes to overuse it as opposed to really actually knowing the feeling as to what is actually going on as a way of attention.
Oh, there's people tell you they have OCD and ADHD, and it's like, you don't, you've never been tested. Like, I know you don't.
Yeah, it's
like, go get tested if you think you have it. Unless you're a really like blatant case, like you don't need tested, mate. But
it is that.
Touchy subject again. I find people today are using mental health as almost like label, as like a weaponized label.
Tell me about it. Yeah, 100%. Like, they use it as a way of getting sympathy, be able to control other people's emotions, be able to get, let's say, followers, likes and everything online, be able to, that's why I said in a relationship, let's say, control, weaponize it. You could even use it as a weaponized thing if you are thinking that way. Or some people might just do it without even thinking that way. Then you also have it in the sense of as how you then behave. As in, like, you could get diagnosed with something at a later age in life, and then you've been grand, no issues. You know what I mean? You've been doing your thing, but then all of a sudden now you have this label now stacked on you, like, let's say ADHD, or let's say even autism. You know what I mean? That you then discovered later on in life. Then all of a sudden now you have this label. Why are you changing? Because now you're leaning into that. I think it's big fucking ridiculous.
Oh yeah, so it's what you're saying is it's you never knew you had it, so it was never a problem. Now you know you have it, you think there's something wrong.
Yes, yeah and no. So you never knew that you had it. You always felt there was something somewhat off. And then, let's say you even did get tested. But then you lean into the behaviour traits then even more so. Some people could say, I'm regulating. You know what I mean? I'm regulating all this kind of stuff. Fair enough. You know what I mean? But you've been operating the way you have been. Why would you then make yourself, as I said, I'm talking from my experience, people become smaller. You know what I mean? To slow yourself down when you were progressing from a label that you're, like, let's say, slapped on your forehead, from, let's say, maybe going on ChatGPT. How do people with autism behave? How do people with ADHD behave? And then you feel that you have to act in that way. Yeah,
so you're almost using it as an excuse to, like, underperform. Because now I have it's not my fault anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why my mom was another reason why she didn't get me tested. Because she thought initially that I would use it as a way of, if something was going on, I have ADHD. You know what I mean? But for me, I used it as a way of just flipping it as, how can I use this in a way to set up my life and environment so my head works for me from a learning standpoint. And that's why I said practically learning, that suits me. It always has. And even as to how I have to do my morning, I'm not going on the phone until 10 o'clock for the most part. I want that morning to myself to do my own thing, to be able to, or at least first 2 hours to do my own thing.
What do you do?
Wake up.
What's your morning without the phone?
Without the phone, wake up, let the dog out to go for a piss, then feed the dog, have electrolytes, creatine. Depending on the day, if I'm to go to the gym, I'll go to the gym. If I am not going to the gym, I'll bring the dog on a walk and just go around, get a coffee and come back and just sit there, just, like, mess around on the laptop. But I'm not going on to emails or like, I'll be, for me, learning is fun. In a way, like, I'll look up podcasts, I'll search stuff up trying to learn it. Yeah. So that's my time, you know what I mean? So whatever I want to do, really.
I actually think learning's fun. Like, my bedtime routine is listening to astrophysics talks.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say that.
Oh.
I'm sure I said
no. It's like one of the things, like, what do people not know about me? That I fall asleep every night to scientific talks on astrophysics. And
fascinating.
I just love it, man.
Yeah.
But terrible memory. Like, the amount of hours I've put in to listen to these talks, I should be an astrophysicist.
Are you going to sleep listening to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard, obviously, I don't know if you, was that part of did you hear the podcast as well about going to sleep listening to it? It's like nearly like a downloading in your brain. Yeah, it never happened for me either.
So, like, I probably know more than the average human, but every night I just find it so interesting.
Yeah.
And, like, even like sci-fi movies and TV shows, and I'm all over them. Show me the black holes, show me the spaceships. How the fuck does the engine work? I want the science.
Yeah.
I just fucking love it. But then I think it comes back to the way my brain works. I'd be quite like engineered, breaking stuff down.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I'm smart in terms of retaining information, but I would say I'm intelligent in terms of I'm able to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
So like there's stuff on the computer I do, and if I don't do it for 6 months, I have to refigure it out again.
Yeah.
But so like I should remember it, but I don't. So I have to like refigure out how the fuck to make this thing work again.
I wouldn't say that now. Like I heard Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
He does a bit of fight, and then he might take a good amount of time off. Now I don't know how true this is, but 95% sure I did hear this. Coming back in, it's like he's rusty again. You know, it's the same thing. You have to get back to skill, and it's just going back in. It's like fucking take the time off from anything. Even getting to work, let's say you take a month off, you know what I mean, getting back into it.
After Christmas is hard.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just more of that sort of thing. It's like that mental block.
But like I know my memory is terrible. So like I could read a book and then I could read it 2 years later and it's like reading it for the first time again.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. So I have a really, really bad memory. Even the woman pulls me on it because she says I don't listen to her. And I'm like, I do listen to you. I'm in the moment, I'm listening.
Yeah.
But call me on it 3 months later, we didn't have that conversation.
Yeah.
So it's mad. So I would say that's where my brain works in the engineering thing of like reverse engineering stuff, breaking it down. I don't know how to do it, but I think I understand it.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. Don't even know why we're going to do it.
No, I don't remember. I like the way it went down anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I was falling asleep.
Falling asleep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Fuck. You were talking about learning the.
Yeah. So weed. Yeah. Was it at the weed part?
You were talking about your morning, and then you would go join the laptop and not emails, but you enjoy learning, so that'll be your time.
Yeah, that'd be my time.
So I said would be falling asleep to the scientific talks like a nerd.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Like in the eating time, that would be. I'd always throw on a podcast. You know what I mean? I make my food, throw my music, have a little fucking bit of mess around with the dog, and fucking bang on a podcast.
Yeah, I enjoy podcasts. I pick and choose the ones to listen to, which I probably shouldn't. I should probably do more variety.
I don't think that. I can't have a stance on that now. I'm very selective.
I'm very selective in terms of the guests. I listen to the same guests repeatedly in different podcasts.
Yeah. I've done that.
And I'm going like I should probably listen to the same podcast, but each guest.
Depends on the guest.
Yeah.
I think because obviously what I've noticed from saying different guests on same guest, different podcast, they're not going to go on and talk the same thing.
No.
They're going to go on and with especially if it's a big guest and they're doing something. Each podcast is going to have a different mission. There'll be similar is conversations, yeah, but I think you'll get a different nugget from each one.
Move on to money and business. You are a business owner. Yeah, you're doing well. You weren't doing well. You are now doing well. So like wins and losses, you bet your last £100. That's powerful. So like you were down and out, bet your last £100. I think I did ask you actually already as well about like what did that purchase mean to you? Because like £100, if you've 10 grand in the bank, it's nothing. But when you've €150 in the bank and you're spending €150, that's a big commitment.
I've done it a few times now.
Have you?
Yeah, social circle is the last 6. So Sean was doing it for I think installments. I think it was like 600 for the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 600 for the first installment. That was all that. I was able to get that up into. So that was November, the mics, and then this is February now. So the last 600 grand, I was like, I'm going all in on this. But yeah, no, same thing with the whole, because the way I was seeing it, I was going off films. I'm big into films. I like using films as metaphors. I don't go out with many people back home. So what I am big on is, and it is true, you're the equivalent of the, like, say, the top 5 people. Yeah. You're not the same. But it is true. So I don't have that. I don't really go out with people now. I do now, but I never really see them. They're in different countries, all this kind of crack. There is still the odd person that I might be able to see, but they're not doing this. You know what I mean? So they don't get it. So I was more so going off podcasts, listening to people saying, yeah, I have to just go all in and just having faith. You know what I mean? I'm very big into, and this pulls it back to even the delayed gratification. And let's say the video with my nanny there, as to what you're saying, is self-belief. You know what I mean? Just fully believe, and that brings, like, even earlier on, the reason why. When I was saying that I wrote it down as the way I wanted to go about losing weight, it all falls back to all those different things. And then from doing all those different things, it reinforces real life experience, which just naturally increases self-belief. So even though I knew I was fucking myself up, I knew I'd get out of it.
So like, how do you go about decision making then when you're in those moments? So like, do you do a risk calculation, or do you just go, I know this is a step, I believe this is a step, if I'm taking the step? For
example, what I have to do now, I had True Power, left it. I had a fair few clients, they just don't want anything anymore. Left it. I had like 19, nothing coming in, nothing new. But I left it, sacrificed everything because I know this is gonna work. You know what I mean? So I don't, but that was only came from all the other stuff that happened.
So True Power was your first coaching business, and then what was the one where you had like 7 staff members?
That's True Power.
That's True Power?
That's True Power, yeah. So that was going very well. But obviously, look, over time, I know as to why everything went the way it went. I was, as I said, coming from a place of scarcity, give me money now when it's coming in. I was not smart with the finances that I did have for paying. I was very much, I'm not going to say, I will say over-generous could be a word that you could use, but they were working very well. So from, actually, let's say the area where I grew up, not really many people are doing the stuff that I'm doing. So I want to be able to like try take other people with me, and I want to make sure that they're obviously doing well and everything too. So the people that were around me, I wanted to be able to look after, and they were also putting in the work, so they deserved it. But from people that I've talked to, and let's say my accountants and fucking mentors and all this kind of stuff, you were paying way too much, which then fucked me up in the sense of not taking into account monthly recurring revenue, not taking into account tax VAT, and not being educated, not educating myself on all that kind of stuff. So it was just very much go and worrying as I went. It was still very much, even though I wasn't, like you were living paycheck to paycheck. And then that caused things to go the way they went. But at the same time, I couldn't be any happier that it did happen. But it has obviously put me in the position now to consistently just back and have the belief and trust myself.
And the next thing is unbreakable. You talked last week about homelessness again, like you could lose the house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like on paper, that's what you'd look at what I'd done as in like leaving True Power.
Everything you had.
Yeah, stupid.
But you clearly weren't happy.
Sorry?
You clearly weren't happy though.
If the reason as to why I left was the pattern as to what I've been somewhat discussing as controlling emotions was the same one that was controlling my relationships and controlling the way I handled myself in business. It was the exact same cycle. And when it comes down to breaking a pattern, you have to first recognize it. And then when you have the awareness around it, you have to be able to go about making certain changes with the feeling that is obviously controlling, let's say, the emotion, giving it a new story. And then from that, it reinforces, when you reinforce the story, it's going to obviously create the identity. But sometimes with that, I feel anyway, you have to start fresh. You have to rebuild, because unless you, let's say, pull back or set certain boundaries, you can very easily get pulled back into it. Let's say with a relationship, you say, whatever the issue is, let's say me and my ex, I'm trying to give, she's trying to pull back. You know what I mean? Unless we came to meet in the middle, that pattern on, off, high, lows, that was consistent nearly every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So unless you obviously have the awareness around it, obviously the willingness to obviously change as to what it is that you are doing, from then leaning in or making obviously a big shift, you can still very easily get stuck in it. And this is why I do feel so many people still stay in the same cycles that control them, or they could do well for a period, but eventually it's inevitable that you're going to get pulled back. And then like that pulls it back to the discipline side of things. People then feel that they're not disciplined, even though they were doing so well, causing them to beat themselves up even more. But you have to be willing to let go to be able to move forward. So even though I know I've probably done it a little bit drastic to some degree, I knew for me to be able to move forward, I had to let go of everything that was controlling me, because my psychiatrist did, as I said in the video, like a psychological breakthrough was what I had. Because with that, I found out my thing Christmas Eve, as to how that hit me, was like a movie trailer going through my fucking head. It was nuts. Then I had all these issues with, let's say, the ex, and then as to what stuff that I was told then coming into the Christmas, painted everything back. It was a complete big mindfuck. And then that caused me to like take a step back and really actually look at my life as to how I held myself. Why was I actually staying in a relationship for so long, trying to fix, because that was limiting my self-worth and that's my happiness. That's the exact same with the business. So I could keep trying, which is inevitable. That's just going to leave me unhappy. But what everything was the pattern that was controlling everything, and that controls the behavior. So to change the behavior changed my fucking life pretty much. And with that, start fresh. And when it comes down to it, like it's just, it comes down to having that self-trust from obviously building the confidence.
It's like feeling the wrong fire though, and like you were obviously smart enough to realise you were feeling the wrong fire.
I was feeling the wrong fire, yeah. I was not living from a place of purpose. It was scarcity, and it was the need to prove. And then, as I said, like at a certain point, if you were operating from that same way, let's say if you were striving to get in the nick for a holiday, well, you come back from the holiday and you're fucking bent out of shape. You know what I mean? Because you're only needing to prove. They look for the validation, you know what I mean? While you're at the pill party.
Those first day photos.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Nothing necessarily wrong with it, but you're always going to fail at a certain point. It's like the same thing with the engine and the sail. You have to come from a place of purpose. So even though I know I'm in not the situation that I'm not, a situation that is similar than before, I'm going to be happy about it. You know what I mean? Because it gave me the insight now as to who I am, what I want to do, and what I said this yesterday in my story. I might sound a little bit fucking cringy. What I feel, everything my whole life has been pretty much leading up to, the insights, the patterns that have been controlling it, the all consistently, any time I felt I'd done wrong, look into improve or invest or ask questions. So it was always that, you know what I mean? Anytime I've done something wrong, I took responsibility. And from that and me feeling less, it caused me to want to help people more. You know what I mean? So that's just the way we frame it.
Was True Power your first time having like proper money?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
It was overwhelming. At the first year, I couldn't believe what was really going on. But obviously, and this was another big issue. And to be fair to you, actually did say to me, why are you never present? And I only thought about this month, January. I only got thinking about it then. And with that, it was the scarcity, because I was too busy focusing on the future, but I was too busy as well worrying about the past as to where we were and obviously as to where I'm going. And this is the first time I was in this position. And then from the fear of, I'm always going to be a failure. I need to obviously prove. And that there was just go, as opposed to actually sitting in the moment and just enjoying it. So even though I enjoyed as to where I was, it took away a lot of the happiness from it, because even though I just kept going, because I thought the more I earned, the more I'd done, the more people saw me for me, the happier then I'd be. But it realistically added more stress, more pressure, and more unhappiness all around that caused issues in a lot of different relationships in my life, caused me then to be very alone, and it just drove a lot of people away, and I drove them away. But some people also, we need to obviously split anyway. So it taught me a lot of lessons, but from just obviously operating in that place, the money side of things, it was good, could have controlled it a lot better. But from what I done with the money, even though probably wasn't smart, I had fun, but it now gave me my whole different outlook on life and as to how I want success to be for me, which is not this fucking lavish life. It's just like waking up in the sun, being able to have good food with good people, train, get my content done, and not have to financially worry about stuff. Just everything's like safe. And they're not sweet. I mean, so, but none of that would have happened if it wasn't for the shit that I done.
Yeah, so I had actually a great question here, and I think you just answered it anyway. Was, what are you pushing for? What's the end goal? What will 60, 70-year-old Sean look back on and be glad that you accomplished for him? So
I will accomplish it. It's more, I want to create something that outlives me. Because with business, you know yourself, it's true power. That wouldn't run without me. You know what I mean? Like, and as obviously it's not. I gave it to the lads. It's not really there now anymore. You know what I mean? So that does run without me. So I want to be able to create something that does outlive me, and I feel the unbreakable method to Coach OS will be those things, especially for the day and age that we're going into. Because even though I know I'm talking about systems, frameworks, understanding each other, you can go online and you can get fucking calories, macros. You can get a training program in a fucking matter of seconds.
Oh yeah, it's ChatGPT. You can
you know what I mean?
Ask to do a training
exactly,
program.
Yeah. So with this now, it's about understanding as to who you are. And like, let's say with that video with Annie, it's about trying to expand people's visions even more. Because if you show somebody something that was controlling them for all their life and they didn't realize, that creates them to be a better person, and then they will have more of an impact with somebody else, and then that catapults, you know what I mean? It just keeps going around. And then the community aspect, you know what I mean? So bringing people together, because it's well and good having, let's say, the best training program, but you don't have an environment of people as well on the same buzz. Not that they don't have to be on the same buzz, but just want better. It's a lot easier to fall back into old habits. So being able to create that, being able to create the community, and being able to create something that hasn't been done, not for like a point of proof, but being able to do something that I genuinely feel a lot of people do need, is the understanding into their psychology. And then everything else is going to start change for the better.
I believe it is a very powerful thing, and it's a very powerful thing even understanding how powerful it is, which is the community aspect. Like, it's the activity of this podcast. I work on my own apartment, the guy works for me. The responsibilities of the business in the day-to-day isn't his. You know, he doesn't need to know what fuck our wages are due next week and they're not there. You know, that's not his worry. You know, Which is why, like, the podcast here, it gets me sitting down with guys like you, sitting down with other business owners doing great things, amazing things, or whether they're on a business or not, whatever they're doing in life can be amazing. I get that community aspect through this podcast. I did say I joined Social Circle. I haven't used it, I'll be totally honest, and I'm probably wasting it by not using it, by not even being in the
community. In what was it, end of July?
End of July? What's that?
Ibiza.
Oh, Ibiza?
Yeah, Social Circle.
Get me shredded, boy. I think the community thing is massive, though. Like, it really is.
The community thing is the biggest factor about it. Because, like, for example, let's say Social Circle. I don't use it, but I'm still a part of it.
But you go to the events?
I go to the events, and I'm still very much a part of it, but I'm not necessarily in the videos, in the stuff, but I'm still very much there because he's created such a good community aspect around it.
In Unbreakable Method, are you going to be leading the way? Or are you going to be educating people to help each other?
Yeah, this is why I done the event. I said I didn't know about the Unbreakable Method then, but like I say, the event that I done was Broken to Unbreakable. That's what I done in November. And I said then, for whatever reason, the event is going to be the catalyst for next year. I didn't know it was going to, at this point, like, I was true power all in. Like, I was locked and loaded. So I didn't know as to how things were obviously going to pan out. Yeah. And so I suppose that's the uncertainty and exciting part that keeps you locked in. But with everything with, let's say, the Unbreakable Method and everything which I want to do, I'm going to be very much a part of it. I want to be able to grow. I want that. I do want it to become like very much like an organisation. I basically created an ecosystem at the moment. So I have Coach OS, which is currently getting developed into an app. This is another thing that I went all in on. So that's an educational system for coaches to become better. And as I said, learning in real time with their clients, analysing biomechanics is basically the future of coaching, in my opinion.
I'm excited to see what you do.
I'm
excited to see what you do.
I'm excited as well. I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued. Oh, yeah, you have to be, though. Yeah. Sean, I've been talking for, I would say, coming up in 2 hours now, so I have a couple of ending questions for you here, but in case I don't say it at the end, it has been amazing talking to you. Like, your mindset is remarkable, and especially the fact that you're all self-taught. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to get you on. I know you make a lot of macro-friendly videos, so if you haven't, I'm sure you have, you're watching this here, you have seen Sean's content. Some of his recipes are insane.
Or weird, whatever way you want to put it.
Or weird, whatever you want to put it, but they hit the spot. So yeah, I've enjoyed your content. Like I said, I started following you in 2024, and it was the recipe videos and stuff that brought me in. Then I started to realise the mindset behind the man who's making these recipe videos, and the other ones you were doing. Like I said, your granny one last week, because it's the first one that comes to my head. But yeah, I have a couple of ending questions for you here. Do you have any regrets? Or what way do you think of those?
I could obviously get on here and say I have a lot of regrets, but not really, because if I regretted something and I wish something didn't happen, I wouldn't feel the way that I am now. And I've said already that I feel very fulfilled, fine, for the first time ever. So if none of that shit happened, it wouldn't have taught me the lessons.
No,
the way's growth.
I fully agree with that. Shit in the moment. Every one of them always is. But I'm a firm believer in everything that happens leads you to where you are. So
yeah, a quote that I like leaning into for this is, every negative situation is a piece of gold you can find in it. So it's just about finding the gold.
Find the gold. Well, no regrets, but if you could go back and change stuff, what 3 things would you tell your younger self starting out today if you could?
Don't be so hard on yourself. Trust in as to who you are, as opposed to worrying about what other people think. And we saying younger self.
Younger self, yeah.
Younger self. Don't shy away from uncomfortable situations and, let's say, hard decisions, because at the other side of them there's growth, which I shied away from a lot of them in younger years. And I'd say the other one would be, if you say that you're gonna do something, always just make sure that you follow through, which I do now, but I didn't for a good period.
There's something to be said for letting yourself down. Like, it does have a knock-on effect.
That's why I felt that very heavy in the year. I think that's would be part of the reason as to why everything went the way it went in the younger years. To forward, obviously, let's say the homeless period and everything that happened. Because it's like that. It brings it back to the emotion, and that's why remember what I was saying about, let's say, the jobs, as to how obviously they felt when they obviously didn't work in the way that you wanted. That causes you to reinforce lack of trust in yourself and your abilities. and that creates that fear. So that causes you to go in the opposite direction as opposed to lean in as the way you should.
Fight or flight. What's important to you at the moment?
Stability.
What do you do for downtime? I know you've told me your morning routine, but when you're not on social media making content, or you're not helping clients, what's Sean time in the evenings? What do you do?
At the moment, it's literally just been working, if I'm being honest. I haven't been getting off the laptop. But I do try and make sure that I do at least once or twice a week. Just at the moment, you know yourself, when you're busy, you have to fucking just have to have a bit of crunch time. But knowing when to pull back, as in like downtime is uptime, is essential. So if you obviously you can, because it does mess you very much. So I pretty much said it was music, cooking food,
movies.
I will say a joint. Not every. I used to be every night. It's not every night now. So like 1 or 2 a week. Yeah. Like pick your poison. You know what I mean? I don't drink around anymore.
I can't work with it.
No.
It makes I become the most unproductive person ever.
I don't understand how people do it during the day. I wait till everything's done, every single message is sent, and I'm just like I'm ready to just enjoy, just relax.
But I even find for me personally, and him, I done it. Even trying to work the next day, it's like I'm not 100%.
That depends on which one. It depends. Obviously, I done it before when I got jellies. I don't know if you've ever tried the jellies. I'll never go back. No. I enjoy the weed because I wake up the next day and I'm sweet, I'm fresh, I feel great. Jellies, that shit. I had to go into personal training the next day. I had 2 or 3 because me and my friend were walking around and we just couldn't really feel it. We sat in the car, we turned on Dave Chappelle. I nearly fell asleep. I was having a good laugh. But I woke up the next day and I don't think it dropped off until like 5 o'clock the following day. It was the worst experience. I've never gone back and done it again.
No, I've had some wild experiences on it, but working wise, that's why I had the knock on the head. I couldn't function. I would love to be able to, because I do enjoy like the full switch off, like, you know, brain's gone.
That's the thing. Like I had to have it to switch off.
Switch off.
Like even like now, I'm saying like I'd still be doing something. Like even now, I'm not doing it now as much. It'd be once every week or every 2 weeks. But even now, like I'm working on the laptop until I go to bed. I just find it very hard. Now I know I'm under pressure now to get things moving, but either way, like it's a nice way for me to just switch off. I'm not ashamed to say everyone has their own fucking thing. Like.
Do you like social media?
I like the ideology around as to what it can be, but for what it is and what it's used for a lot of people, not so much. No, you know what I mean? Like if you need it now in this day and age, you know what I mean? Like you can't not do it. So use it to your advantage.
You can't do anything without it.
No, you can't do anything without it. So that's what I'm saying. It's knowing how to use it for you. Like my social media is an educational tool. That's, you're liking it, you're saving it. I don't know if you do the same, but you like it, you save the comment. And then your fucking thing is like just all the stuff that you need to learn.
That's it. I remember it was like last week or something, week before Valentine's Day. I clicked on an ad for lingerie.
It's everywhere.
And like, without even thinking, I went to swipe off it and clicked it and loaded up the website, and I was like, get off. And then fucking for the next like 2 weeks, but all I see was lingerie. I'm like, I clicked one fucking ad. Like, give me one out as a mistake. Like, don't just instantly hit me, because now you're hanging up my phone. You're like, tits, ass, tits. Like, fucking stop. Like, if anybody's behind me here, they want to think it's my social media.
I do get that. It is fucked. Like even your phone does listen to your conversations.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good at knowing. Like they have that thing. They have that tool well programmed, because like you say, even listen. There's times like you're just talking about something and you're on your phone going, I didn't type you at all.
Like last week I was having a touchy conversation, and I went into Instagram. First video was basically off the exact topic as to what it was that I was just saying. You know what I mean? I was like, that's fucking weird.
2 last questions then. What is 3 things you wish more people understood about you that you maybe wouldn't have publicised?
3 things people. I don't really like doing the food videos.
No.
I hate doing the food videos.
You weren't expecting my Sans nighttime routine. I was not expecting that.
No, I don't really like doing the food videos. They served the purpose for a while, but literally only because last year, 2 years ago now, I was so busy, and the only time that I had to get a video was when I was eating in the evening time. So I was like, I might as well just kill with 2 birds with 1 stone, and it worked. So the food videos, not necessarily a big fan. I'll stay with them though. Then the second thing would be, I always used to get called rude when I was growing up. Now, I don't know if I put on a face or I don't know if I done something. I feel I sometimes I can be a little bit standoffish now, but I'm not a cunt. Even though if maybe sometimes that I might I feel sometimes, I don't know how true it is, if some people could be, I don't know, nervous to come over or whatever it may be. I'm not mean in a way. I don't know, it was just stuff that was said to me from years ago, so now I'm a lot more conscious of it.
I like open and approachable.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm not that. But the third thing.
So we see Sean on the street, over and give him a hug.
No, that's not saying that. That was just, I don't know, that was the first thing that came to me, the other thing that came to me head, because I was always called like very rude. But the way, you could say very rude, but I also just said it as to how it was. You know what I mean? If I don't have time, you'll know. I'm very straightforward in that sense.
Some people take being direct as a bad thing though.
What?
Some people take being direct as a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing.
It's like, no, I don't want to miss both our times.
Yeah, it's just respect. I see it as respect to some people, like, so, you know, yeah, maybe in the sense of reframing it, if you don't, like, I will say it straight to you whether you like to hear it or not. And then the other thing would be, I may put up a front, but I actually am quite maybe emotional in a sense. Yeah.
I wonder, is most people though, and we just don't say it?
I don't think that's why it brings it back to the competent vulnerability. You know what I mean? Not being afraid to show your emotions, and that's why I do feel even now for the day and age that we're going into, it's even more important to show that human side, which is going to be missing in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel it's very important.
Well, we obviously know Unbreakable's next, but what is next? What's next for you? So Unbreakable, big thing, big launch. This is your next big move.
Yeah,
it's going to change a lot of lives.
That's the plan.
That's
the plan. Yeah, and then the whole Coach OS sort of things.
Coach OS.
Also, have the unbreakable mind. This was my issue. I was acting from a place of urgency. I was like, I need to do so much. I'm just focused on the one thing now. Yeah. The Coach OS has already started, so that's going to be down. That's going to be a number of months away. The long-term vision for that is, I do feel the healthcare systems are going to fall apart. There's already, and this is creating a framework and basically a decision tree for guaranteed results and increased level of human connection and delivery with the person on the other end. So you want to sign up, you're getting a result guaranteed. The only reason you won't is if you're just acting the bollocks, but you're getting taught on everything for yourself. You want that level of accountability, but it's to educate coaches to make them better, because there's too many shit ones and there's too many overly confident ones.
There's too many coaches who are very good salespeople and not good coaches.
Yeah, they spend too much time on the marketing side of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And too much time, or the other ones feel that they can get away with what works for them. You know what I mean? It's going to work for you. So, and then I feel that like that sweet spot in the middle, you'd have a lot of like an issue on my end last year. This is a lot. Everything which I'm doing is from issues that I've had. So I was like, well, okay, where did I fuck up? Because I wanted to make things better on my end, and then I was right. Okay, I can start. I just started to expand then from there, and then it was last year. You have a team of coaches. You're good. I was really good. They weren't as experienced. The clients then coming in, they're not getting the same impact, you could say. You know what I mean? Like, or less. I'm babying and standing over. So maybe that, and with the way I was looking at it, if you had, let's say, a system in place, you were going to educate, the system challenges you on as to why these decisions are being made, pulls you on what you should be also giving the system, and then that guarantees results from a business standpoint for coaches.
I feel like a system across the board. It's like, if this is my standard, doesn't matter who delivers it. It's my standard,
and it talks, and it's gonna speak in. It's being honest, it's a cheat code. You know what I mean? It's getting rid of coaching.
So cheat code for coaches. That's what you're saying.
Cheat code for coaches.
And when's that coming out?
A few months.
There we go. Up and coming coaches, keep an eye out for the cheat code, as Sean says.
Yeah.
But yeah, like PTs especially, it's a
dying industry.
I hate to say it, right? Cost of entry is so low. You can go and do a couple of weekends course, and all of a sudden you're a coach and you're responsible for somebody's health. I think there needs to be something like that where people further develop themselves in the real world.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's it causes people then as well to get in their head and having the fear of going back and actually doing it, because that feeling as to what, let's say, client versus coach would have creates a fear. I didn't work with the last person. Sure, he's not going to work with this type of person. So that's why I was like, right, you have something there that's going to guarantee a result with a client. They still want to have that level of accountability. But then your main job is to be able to deliver the information, learn the information so you get better. But you just have to be a good fucking human and be there for that person, knowing the kids, how everything's going, be able to deliver the information to get them to where they want to be. That's what people want. How they're going to get their information, don't give a fuck. As long as you get the result and you're being a good person for them, you're sweet.
100%. Like I want you to care. I want you to call me with bullshit. And I want you to steer me in the right direction.
Exactly, because it even takes away decision fatigue. You have fucking 50, 60 check-ins a day, getting to the last few. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. So it gets rid of all that. So that's the idea.
Yeah, that's it then. So Coach OS.
Coach OS.
So coaches, Coach OS, potential clients, unbreakable. Ready to rock.
Ready to go. Now see how to go.
Sean 2.0. So Sean, it's been great talking to you. Like I said, I followed your content, loved all your content, all your cooking stuff, which we never know what you hate doing, so I feel bad for liking them.
If mate, I don't hate doing them. It's the setup in the fucking apartment. I can't get the lighting correct. It just frustrates the life out of me.
Well, I actually seen your light in the background of one of your stories.
It drives me.
Pre-set up and everything.
It's like fucking a film studio. But I can't get the light. They're like properly shining on the food, like to make it all like cinematic. Or to make it look cool, so that bothers me. But
you get the job done. Like you make some nice meals and they do it well.
That's the job.
Or maybe I'm just a hungry bastard and like everything. Who knows?
Listen.
But no, look, listen, thank you for coming on. Thank you for making the drive up. Thank you for making it happen such short notice. Really enjoyed talking to you. You are more than the man I thought you were. So like I mean that's a compliment. Hope it doesn't come across wrong.
Yeah,
but like I knew you were in your mindset. I knew you were positive and you could help people. Done a lot more than here today, and you're a lot. I hate to say it, you're a lot wiser than I thought you were. And I hope that comes across in the episode of like how much self-development and knowledge you've actually gained over the years, because it's not easy to come by. And even like, what age are you now?
29.
29. You're not old, but you're wise.
We're getting there. Life experience.
A lot of life experience. Yeah. So even that's a compliment to you as well.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Like we just don't shy away from it.
Yeah. No, but yeah, look, thank you for coming on. I hope you've enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, I did.
Enjoyed the conversation, and we will get this out in the next week or so, and hopefully the audience get some deep value out of it as well. But yes, I will put all Sean's links to all his channels in the description of Spotify and YouTube. If you don't already know who he is, and give him a follow, give him support. 500k by next year.
Followers?
Yeah.
6 months, I said.
6 months? Or 500k by 6 months?
6 months, yeah. Listen.
Or the beard's gone.
I'll let that happen.
Start the clock.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Yes, dear. Cheers. Well, thank you very much.